He Xinjiu went ashore. Before she could release the ancient demonic beasts, 5 fanged bloodthirsty bears jumped out of the dense forest. These fanged bloodthirsty bears had been staring at Buttface for a long time. However, Buttface hadn't come out of the lake, so they couldn't succeed. Now that they saw 2 more people, they were naturally ecstatic. It was understandable why they were ecstatic. They would get tired of eating one thing at a time, so it was necessary to change their tastes appropriately. The fanged bloodthirsty bear in the lead roared a few times proudly. It meant that they were doomed. Buttface wanted to jump back into the lake, but he didn't expect 2 fanged bloodthirsty bears to appear behind him. They roared proudly and cut off their escape route. Buttface's heart skipped a beat. It was over. He was really dead this time. If he had known this would happen, he would have preferred to soak in the lake. Yun Chujiu said to Buttface with a smile, "Buttface, don't be afraid. These little bears are so fun. Don't worry, they won't hurt us." Little bears? Fun? Won't hurt them? Is your brain damaged from soaking in the lake? Buttface was dumbfounded. It was over. This bad thing had gone crazy. The fanged bloodthirsty bears were also dumbfounded. Was this human little girl scared silly? Little bears? How are they small? Just as they were in a daze, they heard the little girl say with a smile, "Little bears, they'll give you a chance. Get lost or die. Make your choice." The fanged bloodthirsty bears were stunned for a moment before they let out ear-piercing roars. It was obvious that they were mocking He Xinjiu for overestimating herself. Buttface, who was holding his sword, said, "Little fairy, why don't we kill ourselves? We won't be able to live no matter what." Yun Chujiu ignored this idiot and began to release the demon beasts. Yes, the ancient demon beasts. When the fanged bloodthirsty bears saw the bull that came out at the beginning, although they were shocked, they didn't take it seriously. Although this thing was much bigger than them, it was alone and wasn't their opponent. Then, with a whoosh, 2 tigers were released. The fanged bloodthirsty bears encouraged themselves. Although it was a bit difficult, they could still deal with it if they put in more effort. Whoosh, another one. Seeing the demon beasts being released one after another, the fanged bloodthirsty bears were in despair. Damn it! Where did this human girl get so many demon beasts? And they were strange-shaped demon beasts that they had never seen before. Could it be that she wasn't a human? That she was a demon beast that turned into a spirit? The fanged bloodthirsty bears wanted to run, but their legs were a little weak and they couldn't take a step. Buttface was dumbfounded. Oh my god! This troublemaker was really a pervert. Where did she get so many high-level demon beasts? Was it the Lord who helped her tame Xingzun? So the Lord was seriously injured? The Lord really doted on this troublemaker, Xingzun. Yun Chujiu didn't pay attention to the 7 fanged bloodthirsty bears. She touched her nose and laughed dryly. "Dear babies, I'm so sorry. I came out in a hurry and forgot to send you back. However, the fallen god abyss hasn't closed yet. You can return from the whirlpool in the lake. These pills will be my apology to you. Of course, you can also follow me. I won't mistreat you." The ancient demonic beasts looked at each other and decided to return to the fallen god abyss. Because even if they thought He Xinjiu was not bad, nothing was more important than freedom. Moreover, they were more used to living in the fallen god abyss. Hence, after He Xinjiu established a temporary contract with the 7 fanged bloodthirsty bears, the ancient beasts returned to the fallen god abyss. With the protection of 7 fanged bloodthirsty bears, He Xinjiu and the other 2 successfully left the forest. "Little beauty, what should we do next?" Yun Chujiu asked cheekily. Buttface was already used to it. It was his first time seeing He Xinjiu's suicidal behavior, and he almost fainted from shock. This person was too good at acting. However, her courage was commendable. Wasn't she afraid that Xingzun would teach her a lesson after he recovered? "My body has already recovered. I estimate that I will recover in less than 5 days. At that time, we will return to the immortal Yuan continent," Di Baiming said. He Xinjiu's heart skipped a beat. In 5 days, the gigolo would recover? Then she had to bully him quickly. Otherwise, There would be no such thing after this. As for how Di Biming was going to deal with her after he recovered, he didn't even bother to think about it. He was going to have a good time. Therefore, for the next 5 days, Di Biming's life could be described as water, deep, fire, and hot. He Xinjiu tried all kinds of tricks, but Di Biming was still resigned as usual, as if he had already accepted his fate. That morning, after He Xinjiu opened her eyes, she hugged Di Biming out of habit and said slyly, "Good morning, little beauties." After saying that, she realized that the situation did not seem right. It seemed to be a little cold. Then, she realized that Di Biming's deep, cold eyes were staring at her. "Little Jiu, have you been having a lot of fun these days, huh?" He Xinjiu's mind suddenly went blank. She was done for. The gigolo had recovered. Her good days were over. Oh God, oh Earth, why were the good days always so short? She still had a lot of good ideas that she had yet to execute. How could the gigolo have recovered? However, the most important thing now was to fool him first. Otherwise, the gigolo would definitely not forgive her. The guy blinked his eyes and said with a flattering look, "Xiaomei, my beloved Prince Charming, you have finally recovered? This is really a good thing to congratulate and celebrate. Well, please wait for me for a while. I will go and prepare some face-washing water and breakfast for you." He Xinjiu wanted to break away from Di Biming's arm as she spoke. Unfortunately, any struggle with Di Biming was futile. The guy was drenched in sweat, but he could not escape from Di Biming's iron claws. Di Biming did not say anything. He just looked at her with a slight smile, which made He Xinjiu shudder. A sentence flashed across his mind. Karma was like a tornado. It just happened. Well, that Prince Charming, I admit that I did go a little overboard a few days ago, but that was also because you lied to me. So we're even now. What do you think? Not good. He Xinjiu, well, Prince Charming, I know you're joking with me. It's getting late, I'll go prepare breakfast. Aren't you hungry? As the saying goes, a man is iron rice or steel. You'll be hungry if you don't eat. I'm hungry. He Xinjiu was overjoyed and quickly said, "Prince Charming, I told you it's time to eat breakfast. Since you're hungry, I'll go prepare breakfast now." Di Biming curled his lips again. Being hungry is a small matter. I just want to take a good look at you now. He Xinjiu instinctively felt that Di Biming did not have good intentions. She pointed behind Di Biming and said, "Idle, what do you think that is?" Unfortunately, Di Biming did not even blink his eyes. It was obvious that he had seen through her little trick. He Xinjiu was so embarrassed that she wanted to hide under the quilt. Di Biming only raised his eyebrows, but He Xinjiu found that she could not move. You are shameless. Don't look." He Xinjiu's thick skin was stained with a layer of red. Di Biming looked at her deeply and curled his lips. "Think about how you treated me before?" He Xinjiu was angry, and she felt a little pitiful and regretful. If she had known that he would recover so quickly, she would have done it again. She would not take advantage of that bastard. She would just let it go first. But what should she do now? The pretty boy was obviously going to settle the score later, or should she just give in first? After all, being shameless was not a meal. Thinking of this, she said pitifully, "Prince Charming, I was wrong. You are magnanimous. Please let me go this time, okay? I swear, as long as you let me go, I will definitely turn over a new leaf and become a new person in the future. From now on, you will be the ice and snow on the high mountain. You can only watch from afar, but you cannot do that. I promise you that I will be well-behaved and never mess around again." Di Biming raised his eyebrows. "Is what you said true?" "Of course it's true. It's more real than a pearl." He Xinjiu only wanted Di Biming to let her go, so she naturally swore an oath. Di Biming nodded. "All right, then I'll let you go this time." He Xinjiu could not help but feel happy. "Then hurry up and untie me. My hands and feet are numb." Di Biming revealed a half-smile and said, "Little Jiu, did I tell you that I'm good at drawing?" He Xinjiu's heart sank. What do you mean?" "I said that I would repay you properly. I remember that you have a lot of portraits of me. How could I not express my gratitude? Just maintain this posture today. This venerable one will help you draw a portrait. I guarantee that you will be satisfied. Di Baiming said with a deep gaze. He Xinjiu was so angry that she almost vomited blood. Shameless. How could this pretty boy become so shameless? When she drew him back then, she did not ask him to lie there and not move. You dare? If you really do that, I will not forgive you. The only thing He Xinjiu could do now was to threaten verbally. Di Baiming smiled faintly. What's there to be afraid of? If you don't want me to draw, then I can continue what I said before. Choose one or the other you choose. He Xinjiu was so angry that she was about to die. Fuck, I can't live like this anymore. How can I choose? I can only choose to draw. Drawl, He Xinjiu squeezed out 2 words from between her teeth. The blackened gigolo was even blacker than her. He could not live anymore. Di Baiming took out a pen and paper from his storage ring and started to draw. He Xinjiu was furious at first, but later, she became numb to it. If you want to draw, then draw. If I don't take revenge on you, gigolo, just you wait. After a moment, Di Baiming picked up the drawing paper and looked at it. He nodded in satisfaction. He Xinjiu blinked and said, Show me. Di Baiming raised his eyebrows. You want to see it? Yes, I want to see it. My dear Prince Charming, let me see it. Let me see how good your drawing skills are, He Xinjiu said with a smile. Di Baiming glanced at her. This is drawn by me. Why should I show it to you? If you want to see it, draw it yourself. He Xinjiu, I really want to strangle this big-tailed wolf. What's wrong with it? He Xinjiu was so angry that she could not accept it. However, she had no choice but to admit defeat. Dear Prince Charming, I was wrong. I have once again realized my mistake. I will definitely change in the future. Well, can you untie my shackles? Di Baiming looked at He Xinjiu's pitiful appearance and sighed. He waved his hand, and He Xinjiu regained her freedom. This fellow quickly put on his clothes. Although he wanted to strangle Di Baiming to death, he still smiled and said, Prince Charming, come, I will serve you. Di Baiming raised his eyebrows. He obviously knew what Yun Shuju was planning, but he did not expose it and allowed He Xinjiu to curry favor with him. After breakfast, He Xinjiu helped Di Baiming massage his shoulder and said, Prince Charming, since you have punished me and scolded me, can you forgive me now? Di Baiming said casually, From the day I was poisoned to yesterday, it has been 35 days. You can pay back your debt slowly. There's no hurry. He Xinjiu, if she had the chance to do it all over again, she would still choose to play tricks. She did not care about the long-term relationship and only cared about the feeling of being able to torture a gigolo whenever she wanted. It was so fucking awesome. He Xinjiu adjusted herself and then calmly changed the topic. Xiaomei, Prince Charming, when are we going back to the immortal Yuan continent? Shui Wuji and Infome, those 2 idiots, have persisted for such a long time. It's better for me to rush back as soon as possible. There's no time to lose. Let's set off now, Di Baiming said. Has Brother Wuji's seal been broken a little? He Xinjiu asked with concern. A part of it has been broken. Otherwise, I wouldn't have come to the Dark Continent with peace of mind. But Di Baiming hesitated. He Xinjiu asked impatiently, But what? A few months ago, Shui Wuji disappeared for 2 days for some unknown reason. I thought he was in danger, but he came back on his own. From that day on, that idiot was just fooling around. I thought he was poisoned, but I didn't find anything unusual. Yun Chucho blinked her eyes. TSK? Isn't that simple? Maybe he met someone on the day he disappeared. When I see him, I'll interrogate him. By the way, Prince Charming, did Brother Wuji's personality change after he broke the seal? Di Baiming curled his lips. What changes can there be? He's still so stupid. Yun Shujo, in the eyes of a gigolo, no one was not stupid. Narcissistic maniac. When the 2 of them were about to set off, He Xinjiu looked at Buttface and started to worry. Princess Wangyu is not a good person. If she were to find Buttface, she would definitely seek revenge. How would she settle Buttface? She did not expect Buttface to take the initiative to say, "Little fairy, you and the Lord can leave without worry. I'm just a small guard." Moreover, after such a long time, the people in the imperial palace probably have forgotten what I look like. If I shave off my full beard, they won't be able to recognize me. At worst, it'll just stay far away from Han City. Yun Chuzhou thought about it and agreed. Emperor Yen would definitely not bother a guard like him out of boredom. Princess Wangyu wouldn't be able to stir up any trouble, so he left a lot of pills and nightmare stones for Buttface and told him to be careful. After saying goodbye to Buttface, He Xinjiu rode her sword to the entrance to the immortal Yuan continent. As soon as He Xinjiu mounted her flying sword, she immediately recalled the old and new grudges. Unfortunately, this guy had no guts to be a thief. He could only silently destroy a certain lord in his heart. After cursing the pretty boy hundreds of times in her heart. Then, she asked curiously, "Prince Charming, when I fell from the entrance of the venomous miasma forest, it was a huge bird's nest. Could the teleportation array be inside that bird's nest?" Di Baiming looked at her as if he was looking at an idiot. The teleportation array in the venomous miasma forest is a random teleportation array. Therefore, the locations of the teleportation arrays are different. He Xinjiu touched her nose. Wasn't it amazing that she knew more than her?
Pa.
Prince Charming, is the location of the teleportation array that we return to also random? That's right. After we leave the teleportation array, we will be teleported to different places. Be careful. If you run into any danger, remember to crush the jade token that I gave you. He Xinjiu nodded. She was a little excited. That was great. She was finally going to get rid of the gigolo. She was finally going to say goodbye to her days of being a slave. Di Baiming glanced at her. "Are you very happy to be separated from me?" "Prince Charming, how can you say that? I can't bear to part with you. I can't wait to be with you all the time." The little girl in his heart was so happy when he said that. "Haha, I won't serve you anymore. I'm going to have fun on my own." Di Baiming understood the guy's thoughts too well. He snorted coldly and said, "Little Jiu, because that idiot Shui Wuji is getting stronger, I will have a lot of time to visit you in the future. Let's settle the score slowly. There's no hurry." He Xinjiu pretended to be confused. Tilting her head, she said, "Prince Charming, only when the world is united does we dare to be in love with Junju. How can there be a score between us?"
What?
"Prince Charming, if something happens to your body, don't force yourself. Remember to send me a message." Seeing that Yun Chuzhou was deliberately changing the topic, Di Baiming did not insist and nodded. "When you go back, don't get involved in the matters of the Yen clan. Cultivate well, and don't get into trouble." He Xinjiu blinked her eyes. "Prince Charming, since you are the lord of the Yen clan, why don't you teach them a lesson?" Shengzun asked. "I've lost a lot of my memories, so I'm not too sure about what happened back then."
Besides, you heard what Shaimo said.
"The demons have always been eyeing the humans. The humans are too comfortable, so it's good to practice with the Yen clan." He Xinjiu. She suddenly felt sorry for the Yen clan. How could it be destroyed? A few days later, the two arrived at a valley. After Di Baiming opened the enchantment, he first let Yun Chuzhou enter the teleportation formation before he walked into the teleportation formation as well. After an unknown period of time, He Xinjiu fell to the ground. When this fellow got up and saw it, he was instantly dumbfounded.
Fuck.
"Damn God, are you playing with me? Isn't this the land of the nightmare ancestor? How did she get teleported here?" However, it made sense. When the Nightmare clan had left the Dark Continent, they had probably arrived here. Otherwise, they wouldn't have built the land of the nightmare ancestor here. Just as this fellow was looking around, he heard footsteps coming from afar. In a moment of panic, he entered the sacrificial temple next to Meng Yanshou. It was the sacrificial temple where the nightmare beast had been. He Xinjiu took off the spirit-concealing ring from her hand and hid behind the curtain of the temple. Soon, the sound of footsteps could be heard from outside. The door of the main hall was pushed open. "Smash this statue," a cold and angry voice said. Hei Xinjia's heart sank. It was really a narrow road for enemies. It was actually Aog, that bullshit crown prince. Could it be that he had already helped his father regain the power of the Yen clan? Hei Xinjiu had a few thoughts in her mind. The jade token given to her by Di Baiming could not be used unless it was at a critical moment. It would be best if she could think of a way to fool him. Just as he was thinking of a way, someone stopped him. "Your Highness, this is the statue of the holy beast. You can't smash it, that's right, Your Highness." Although the round platform has been destroyed, the statue of the holy beast cannot be destroyed. Who knows, the holy beast might come back one day. Aog snorted coldly. What holy beast? It spread rumors and caused internal strife in our nightmare race, causing many people of our nightmare race to lose their lives because of it. Smash it. The people around could not stop him, so they had no choice but to have their subordinates smash the statue of the Meng Yanshou. Hei Xinjiu knew that she would be exposed sooner or later. While those people were smashing the statue, she made her face waxen, drew a random 8-shaped eyebrow, and made a big red lip. After adjusting the level of her spiritual power to the 8th level of the Ling Xian realm, she lay on the ground. She pretended to be dead. Very soon, someone discovered Hei Xinjiu. That person cried out in fear. "Ghost! Ghost! There's a ghost!" Those Yen clansmen were already somewhat fearful of smashing the holy beast statue. Hearing that person shout, they immediately went into chaos. "Shut up! What's going on?" Aog shouted sternly. The guard who first discovered Yun Chuzhou said with a trembling voice, "Your Highness, there's a female ghost." Aog frowned. He did not believe that there was a female ghost here. Before he walked over, a little girl walked out from behind the curtain. She had a sallow face, 8-shaped eyebrows, and big red lips. She was really like a ghost. "Greetings, Your Highness." Hei Xinjiu bowed to Aog. Aog frowned. "Who are you? Why are you hiding in the sacrificial temple? What are your intentions?" Hearing Aog's words, the guards immediately surrounded Hei Xinjiu. It turned out that she was not a ghost, but an ugly little girl. Yun Chuzhou bit her lips and said shyly, "Your Highness, I have always admired you. It's just that I haven't had the chance to express my love to you." Aog almost vomited. This was the first time he felt that being liked by others was so disgusting. The faces of the guards and ministers were also stiff. This ugly freak was really overestimating herself. With her appearance, she still dared to like His Highness the Crown Prince. She didn't even look in the mirror. Their nightmare race had always been a handsome man and a beautiful woman. It was the first time in their lives that they had seen such an ugly woman. Aog held back his nausea and asked, "I asked you why you were in the Divine Hall. Don't try to reason with him. Tell me, why are you here?" Hei Xinjia's sallow face blushed. "Your Highness, it's because I admire you. So, when I heard that this damn holy beast slandered you, I wanted to come over and scold it. I didn't think that I would meet you before I had the chance to scold it. This is really fate." Hei Xinjiu even gave Aog a coquettish look when she said this. Of course, in the eyes of others, this fellow was just rolling his eyes. Aog frowned. He didn't doubt it too much. Ever since the infighting within the Nightmare clan, the guards of the Nightmare Ancestors' land had become useless. That was why this ugly freak had the chance to enter the Nightmare Ancestors' land. Aog then looked at Yun Chuzhi's spiritual power level. She was only at the 8th level of the Lingxian realm, so it was unlikely that she was a spy. Besides, no spy would send such an eye-catching spy. Just as Aog was thinking, he saw a burning gaze staring at him. He looked up and saw that ugly freak drooling while staring at him. Aog almost vomited when he saw this scene. "All right, you can leave now. Don't barge into the Nightmare Ancestors' land again in the future, or else he'll kill you without mercy," Aog said coldly. The reason why Aog was so easy to talk to was firstly because he really did not think that He Xinjiu was a spy. Secondly, although Aog had obtained victory in the internal strife of the Nightmare Clan this time, he also wanted to repair the impression that the people of the Nightmare Clan had of him due to the damage to his reputation from the rumors previously. When He Xinjiu heard Aog's words, she was overjoyed. However, she still pretended to be reluctant to part with him, bowed, and walked out. Where did this ugly freak come from? How dare she trespass into the land of the Yen ancestor? She is really audacious. Men, kill her. A sharp female voice said. He Xinjiu was furious. It was this Princess Pian Pian again. She was simply a jinx. Nothing good would happen to her. Princess Pian Pian's guards were about to go forward and capture Yun Chujiu when Yun Chujiu's eyes flashed, and she ran to Aog's side. Your Highness, save me. This fellow knew that the only one who could save her now was Aog. Otherwise, Princess Pian Pian would definitely kill her. Aog frowned. Pian Pian, why are you here? Brother Crown Prince, I missed you. That's why I came to see you. Who is this ugly freak? Princess Pian Pian asked as she held onto Aog's arm. Aog calmly shook off Princess Pian Pian's arm. He said coldly, she's just a commoner. Pian Pian, our wedding is in a month's time. You should properly prepare for marriage in the manor. What are you doing here? Why aren't you going back? Seeing Aog's gloomy face, Princess Pian Pian didn't dare to say anything more. Instead, she glared at Yun Chujiu viciously. She thought to herself, it's all because of this ugly freak. When the crown prince leaves, I'll definitely kill this bitch. He Xinjiu was so smart. She immediately saw through Princess Pian Pian's plan. Moreover, she could roughly figure out Aog's intention of bribing people. Therefore, after Princess Pian Pian left, this guy sat down on the ground with an "oh" sound, as if he was overly frightened. He Xinjiu had a good plan. She felt that since Aog wanted to buy people's hearts, he would definitely send someone to escort her home. This way, she could avoid Princess Pian Pian's vicious hand. Then, she would find an opportunity to leave the poisonous miasma forest. This lady is too frightened. Let's bring her back to the crown prince's residence first, Aog said after some thought. He Xinjiu, damn it, bringing a lady back to the residence at the slightest disagreement. Aren't you afraid of that little bitch beating you up? It just so happened that she had said that she loved Aog. If she insisted on not going now, it might arouse suspicion. Therefore, she could only pretend to be extremely happy and was brought to the crown prince's residence miserably. When Princess Pian Pian heard the news, she was so angry that she gritted her teeth. Although that ugly freak was ugly, for some reason, she felt uneasy. No, she had to think of a way to kill her. After He Xinjiu was brought to the crown prince's residence, it caused a sensation. The crown prince actually brought a woman back. And it was an ugly freak. My God, has the crown prince's taste been distorted to this extent? Of course, Aog did not have the time to bother with He Xinjiu, so he asked the guard to hand her over to Butler Luan of the crown prince's mansion. Aog's original intention was for Butler Luan to find a doctor to treat Yun Chujiu and then send her away. However, it just so happened that a subordinate was looking for him to report the matter, so he did not go into detail. Therefore, after the guard saw Butler Luan, he only gave a brief account of the matter and then left. Housekeeper Luan was now in a difficult position. If he did not explain clearly, how was he going to arrange for this ugly girl? Housekeeper Luan thought that since this ugly girl adored the crown prince and the crown prince had brought her back, perhaps the crown prince really liked this kind of girl. No wonder the crown prince had been chaste for so many years. It turned out that his tastes were different from others. Thinking of this, Housekeeper Luan asked the maid to arrange for He Xinjiu to stay in Mo Lanxian, which was next to Aog's courtyard. He Xinjiu did not know Housekeeper Luan's inner world. She was still puzzled. Although Aog was not very good, the quality of the servants in the Crown Prince's residence was not bad. They were actually so polite and respectful to her. This guy thought that Princess Pian Pian would definitely arrange for people to wait outside the Crown Prince's residence to kill her, so he decided to stay in the Crown Prince's residence for a few more days. After Princess Pian 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 and the others let their guard down, she would think of a way to leave the Crown Prince's residence. This fellow had always been ambitious. In any case, she had food, drinks, and people to serve her. It was simply wonderful. As for Di Biming, he could sense that she was fine through the jade token, so he would not be too worried. Thus, this fellow settled down in the Crown Prince's residence with a peace of mind. Aog was busy all day long, so he had long forgotten about He Xinjiu. He had forgotten, but Princess Pian had not forgotten. She had heard that that ugly freak had not only stayed in the Crown Prince's residence, but had also stayed in the courtyard next to Aojis. She was so angry that her eyes turned red. It was not easy, but those bastards from the 4 great families had all died. Now, an ugly freak had come out to compete with her for the Crown Prince's brother. This was simply outrageous. Thus, just after breakfast that day, Princess Pian Pian came to the door aggressively. Aog had left early in the morning, so Princess Pian Pian had missed him. She said to Butler Luan arrogantly, "Who told you to arrange for her to stay in Mo Lanxian? How dare you? Call that ugly freak over." Butler Luan was a 3rd-grade official in front of the Prime Minister. She was usually someone everyone fawned over, so when had she ever been reprimanded like this? He was very dissatisfied with Princess Pian Pian, but he did not dare disobey the order, so he personally came to Mo Lanxian. "Miss Yi, Princess Pian Pian wants you to go over," Steward Luan said politely. He Xinjiu naturally would not say her real name, so she used Yi Xiaoxiao's fake name back then. This fellow felt that her name was very good. Yi Xiaoxiao turned out to be this young master. Ha! When He Xinjiu heard that Princess Pian Pian was looking for her, she was immediately overwhelmed with drama. This fellow's face revealed a terrified expression. "Housekeeper Luan, Princess Pian Pian tried to kill me the last time in the Nightmare Lord's land. She must be here to kill me this time.
Please save me."
Princess Pian Pian killed people at will. It was too terrifying. "Can I not go?" Housekeeper Luan said with difficulty. "Miss Yi, Princess Pian Pian has a noble status. If you don't go, I'm afraid she will personally bring people here." He Xinjiu looked like she was about to cry. "Housekeeper Luan, I beg you, please give me a way out. If Princess Pian Pian sees me, she will definitely kill me. Is there a back door to the Crown Prince's residence? I'll go out through the back door and hide. I'll come back when she's gone." Housekeeper Luan was already dissatisfied with Princess Pian Pian. Now that she saw how pitiful Yin Shiju sounded, she felt a little sympathetic and sighed. "All right, I'll get someone to bring you out from the back door. You can come back when the Crown Prince returns." He Xinjiu was naturally very grateful. Housekeeper Luan arranged 2 maids to accompany He Xinjiu out of the back door. He Xinjiu was overjoyed. Later, she would find an excuse to get rid of these 2 maids so that she could leap freely in the sea and fly freely in the sky. He Xinjiu blinked her eyes. "My 2 sisters, thank you for taking care of me these past few days. I can't thank you enough. Let's go and take a look around the silk store. I'll give you 2 sisters a few sets of clothes as a token of my gratitude." The 2 handmaidens declined, but they could not hide their smiles and accompanied He Xinjiu to the satin shop. The reason why He Xinjiu chose the satin shop was to use the 2 handmaidens to try on the clothes so that she could get away. When the time came, she would wipe her eyebrows and red lips and make sure that no one would recognize her. It was flawless. In her heart, she had already started to draw a beautiful blueprint for returning to the Hunyuan sect. She was now a great hero of the human race, and she was also the leader of the Unaffiliated Cultivator Alliance. Who would not praise her a little? He Xinjiu's thoughts were pretty good. She didn't expect to meet Aog, who had just returned from the Imperial Palace before she even entered the Satin House. Aojis' face was gloomy. The father of the Jia family, Princess Pian Pian's father, Prince Ankang, was becoming more and more arrogant. When the four aristocratic families were divided, the empress had helped her mother's family speak up for them. The Prince Ankang's estate had indeed gained a lot of power. Originally, this was not a big deal. After all, Princess Pian Pian was about to marry Aoj. It could be considered as keeping the benefits to herself. However, King Ankang was becoming more and more arrogant. Today, during the meeting, he took advantage of his seniority to scold Aoj. Aoj was proud and arrogant, so his mood was naturally not much better. When the commander of the guards beside Aoj saw that his master was in a bad mood, in order to divert his attention, he pointed at Yun Chujio and said, "Your Highness, look, isn't that Yi Xiaoxiao?" Aoj looked in the direction of the commander of the guards. At this moment, Yun Chujio was in the satin manner, beaming with delight as she persuaded the two maids to pick their clothes. Her eyes were lively. Although she still looked ugly, she was somewhat playful and cute. Aoj felt that he must have seen a ghost. He actually thought that ugly freak was playful and cute. He must have been muddled by King Ankang's anger. However, why was this ugly girl with the maid of the crown prince's residence? Aoj strolled into the satin manor. "Why are you here? Does your family live nearby?" He Xinjiu did not expect to meet Aoj so unluckily. She was stunned at first, but before she could speak, one of the maids said respectfully, "Your Highness, Princess Pian Pian is in our residence and seems to be looking for trouble with Miss Yi. Miss Yi is afraid, so she was escorted out of the back door by the two servants." After saying that, the maid even looked at He Xinjiu in a flattering manner, implying that she was helping He Xinjiu so that He Xinjiu would not be embarrassed to tell on her. He Xinjiu's heart was like a dog that had been bald. "You are not helping at all." This fellow hurriedly said, "Your Highness, thank you for taking care of me these few days. I'm fine now. I'll take my leave now." After saying that, He Xinjiu was about to turn around and leave. Before the guy took a few steps, he heard Aoj say, "Wait, aren't you in love with me? If that's the case, I'll ask you to be the crown prince's side concubine after I return to the mansion." He Xinjiu staggered and almost fell to the ground. Holy shit! Ask her to be the crown prince's side concubine? Is Aoj crazy? "Your Highness, are you joking?" "I know, you must be joking." "Well, I'll take my leave now." He Xinjiu was about to run away after saying that. What kind of bullshit side concubine was that? If the gigolo found out about this, he would definitely kill her. Unfortunately, the crown prince's guards had already blocked her way. There was no way for her to escape. Aoj frowned and looked at He Xinjiu maliciously. "What I said is true. You said that you adored me before, and now you want to escape. What are your intentions?" He Xinjiu's lowered eyes were filled with frustration. But now the enemy was stronger and she was weaker. She could only take one step at a time. Therefore, she said shyly, "Your Highness, you really didn't lie to me? I can't believe that it's true. How? How can I be the princess consort of the Yen clan's crown prince? I'm so happy that I'm about to faint." He Xinjiu said, and even winked at Aoj. Yes, she rolled her eyes. Aoj was disgusted by the winking, but when he remembered his purpose, he still said, "In that case, follow me back to the residence." He Xinjiu agreed and followed Aoj back to the crown prince's residence. He Xinjiu really could not understand why Aoj wanted to marry her as a side concubine of the crown prince. True love was definitely impossible. What was his purpose? As soon as Aoj entered the crown prince's residence, a guard came to report, "Your Highness, Princess Pian Pian is beating and smashing Mo Lanxian. Butler Luan could not stop her and was planning to send me to find you." Aoj's expression immediately became extremely gloomy. Previously, although he felt that this cousin was arrogant and willful, he could still tolerate it. Now, she had become like her father, who did not know how to restrain himself. It was really detestable to the extreme. As Aog thought of this, he glanced at the ugly girl behind him. He could use this ugly girl to teach her a lesson. As Aog thought of this, he walked to Mo Lanxian. Before he reached Mo Lanxian, he heard Princess Pian Pian's sharp voice from afar. Smash. Smash. Smash that slut out. She actually dares to live next door to Brother Crown Prince. I must kill her today. Who do you want to kill? Aog said coldly. Princess Pian Pian turned around and saw Aog. She immediately smiled, but when she saw He Xinjiu behind Aog, her expression instantly became ferocious. Brother Crown Prince, why are you with that slut? Aog snorted coldly. Why can't I be with her? I've decided to make her a side concubine of the Crown Prince.
What?
A side concubine of the Crown Prince? No, I don't believe it. Why would you like such an ugly freak? Princess Pian Pian roared in disbelief. Although Xiao Xiao looks ordinary, she is gentle and virtuous. I have made up my mind. Don't say more. If you still don't know how to restrain yourself, I will marry Xiao Xiao and make her my princess consort. Guards, send the guest out. Aog said coldly. Princess Pian Pian almost collapsed on the ground. What? The Crown Prince actually said that he would make that ugly freak his princess consort? Then, what about her? Princess Pian Pian looked at He Xinjiu viciously and pounced on her like a crazy person.
Bitch.
It's all your fault. I'm going to kill you. He Xinjiu was not stupid, so she naturally would not wait to be beaten up. In a flash, she hid behind Aog. Aog looked at the crazy Princess Pian Pian and raised his hand in disgust. He directly pushed Princess Pian Pian to the side. What are you still standing there for? Send the guests out. Housekeeper Luan quickly ordered his maids to drag Princess Pian Pian out. He had long disliked this Princess Pian Pian. This Princess Pian Pian was still passable in the past. Ever since King Kong took power, she had become more and more arrogant. She was really inferior to Miss Yi. At least, Miss Yi was always smiling at everyone. Yes, although her smile was quite scary. He Xinjiu saw that Princess Pian Pian was defeated, and she gloated in her heart. She deserved it. If not for this Princess Pian Pian, she would have returned to the Chaos Origin sect to show off. Aog was obviously not in a good mood. He glanced at He Xinjiu and said coldly, since I've said that I'll make you the Crown Prince's side concubine, you should stay in the manor obediently. If I find out that you have any other intentions, HMPH. Yes, Commoner Girl. Commoner Girl will definitely keep her duties and wait for the day of marriage. After He Xinjiu said that, she parted her big red lips and gave Aog a flirtatious look. Aog said a few words perfunctorily and then left in a hurry. He had already decided that even if he married this ugly girl in the future, he would not get close to her. Such an ugly freak really could not bring himself to say anything. However, that ugly girl's eyes were very intelligent. What a pity for those eyes. However, why did he feel that those eyes looked somewhat familiar? Forget it. Why did he feel that the ugly girl looked familiar? He must have been thinking too much. After Aog left, Housekeeper Luan smiled and said to Yun Chujiu, Miss Yi, congratulations. The rest of the servants also expressed their congratulations to He Xinjiu. He Xinjiu's heart was like a dog crying, but she could only pretend to be happy and even gave everyone some nightmare stones. In the next few days, He Xinjiu obtained some information and could basically figure out Aog's intentions. Firstly, Aog was dissatisfied with King Kong's father and daughter's arrogance and wanted to teach them a lesson. Secondly, he wanted to win the hearts of the people. As the Crown Prince, he had married a commoner as the Crown Prince's consort. Moreover, she was an ugly woman. Naturally, he would gain some good impressions. He Xinjiu sneered in her heart. Great Aunt was not a tool that you could use. Not to mention the Crown Prince's side consort. Even the Crown Prince's consort was not of interest to her. He Xinjiu decided to find an opportunity to escape. She had already chosen the day to escape. That day would be the day of Aog and Princess Pian's wedding. That day, Aog and the others would definitely go to the land of the Yen ancestor to pay their respects to the ancestors. The guards of the Crown Prince's residence would be lax, and she would have a chance to escape from the Crown Prince's residence. Thus, in the following days, He Xinjiu lived in the Crown Prince's residence with good food and drinks. In the beginning, Aog would ask He Xinjiu about her movements. Later, when he saw that she was completely in high spirits, he did not pay any attention to her. Princess Pian wanted to cause trouble for He Xinjiu, but she was afraid of angering Aog, so she made up her mind. When she became the Crown Prince's consort, she would teach that bitch a good lesson. Want to be the Crown Prince's side consort? Dream on! Finally, the day of the wedding arrived. He Xinjiu knocked the two maids to the ground and adjusted the level of her spiritual power to the first layer of the spiritual void tier. She changed into one of the maid's clothes, removed the makeup on her eyebrows and bright red lips, and then carefully left Mo Lanxian. The people of the Crown Prince's mansion were busy preparing for the wedding banquet in the evening, so no one paid attention to He Xinjiu, who had passed by in a hurry. He Xinjiu slipped to the back door, quietly knocked over the guards, and then escaped from the Crown Prince's mansion. He Xinjiu learned her lesson from the previous time and did not dare to delay any longer. She quickly left the imperial city. This guy kept changing his clothes and spiritual power level along the way. In half a day's time, he would be able to reach the poisonous miasma area. He Xinjiu finally let out a sigh of relief. As long as she arrived at the poisonous miasma area, she would not be afraid even if Aog caught up with her. Just as He Xinjiu was thinking about it, she felt the ground shake. Obviously, many people were coming. He Xinjiu turned her head and saw dust flying in the distance. Many people were riding on nightmare beasts and were flying in her direction. He Xinjiu's heart sank. Were they here to catch her? This guy shook his head. Although Aog would be very angry if she ran away, he would not go to such great lengths to come here to catch her. She must be thinking too much. Thinking of this, He Xinjiu stood by the roadside and prepared to continue her journey after these people passed. Unexpectedly, those people actually surrounded her. A cold voice said, "Should I call you Yi Xiao, or kill little Jiu, or Leng Xiaojiu, or Yin Chujiu?" He Xinjiu's heart sank. She looked up and saw Aog jumping down from a huge nightmare beast, staring at Yin Chujiu. "Your Highness, are you kidding me? Why can't I understand?" He Xinjiu looked shocked and innocent. "Yun Chujiu, you played me so badly. No wonder you disappeared from the military camp. So you became a maid. No wonder there was a sudden change in the Nightmare Ancestors' land. It was all your fault. You even lived in my Crown Prince's residence for a month. How dare you?" Aog looked furious. He felt that he was a fool to be toyed with by a little girl. If it were not for the fact that he had discovered something by accident, he probably would not have noticed it in his entire life. Seeing that Aog had said so much, Yun Chuju knew that there was no point in quibbling. She simply smiled and said, "Aog, you are not too stupid. But how did you find out?" Aog looked at Yun Chuju's smile and gritted his teeth in anger. "No matter how I found out, you can't think of leaving today. We have to settle the score." Yun Chuju blinked her eyes and curled the corners of her lips. "All right, I can't beat you anyway, so do as you wish." Seeing that Yun Chuju was so sensible, Aog's expression softened a little. He said to his subordinates, "Tie her up and bring her back to the Crown Prince's mansion." "Yes." The two guards agreed and were about to tie Yun Chuju up, but unexpectedly, Yun Chuju threw a big sack at them. The two guards subconsciously flashed, and the big sack fell to the ground.
Boom.
The chili inside flew everywhere, choking everyone's eyes. He Xinjiu took the opportunity to jump out of the encirclement and ran forward desperately. Although she was confident in her movement technique, Aog knew a secret technique, so it was better to run faster. Aog choked on his snot and tears, so angry that he almost passed out. He had never experienced such a setback in his life, especially when he had lost to the same woman several times. Therefore, when he found out that He Xinjiu was Yun Chujiu, he brought people to catch her. Although Yun Chujiu had changed her clothes along the way, Aog still managed to find her through a nightmare beast that could distinguish her scent. The moment Aog saw He Xinjiu, other than anger, there was also an indescribable joy in his heart. He thought that this was the joy of getting his revenge. Aog looked at He Xinjiu's back and a cold smile appeared in his eyes. This Yun Chujiu was really out of her mind. If she ran any further, she would be in the poisonous miasma forest. She was seeking her own death. He Xinjiu ran with her life on the line. When she couldn't run anymore, she let Xiaohong out and rode on it. Xiaohong's fifth tail had already grown out, but it hadn't fully grown yet, so she didn't know what abilities it would gain. However, its speed was much faster than before. Aog looked at the girl on top of the red fox in front of him and gritted his teeth in anger. He bit his finger and was about to cast a forbidden spell. Your Highness, you have already used a forbidden spell once before. You cannot use it again. Although that Yun Chujiu is detestable, you do not need to use a forbidden spell. Moreover, the poisonous miasma area is ahead. She cannot escape, the commander of the guards advised bitterly. Aog thought about it and agreed. Even if she couldn't catch up with her now, she couldn't run away from the poisonous miasma area in front of them. Therefore, Aog gave up the idea of using the forbidden spell and followed closely behind He Xinjiu. Finally, He Xinjiu reached the edge of the poisonous miasma area. Yun Chujiu, the poisonous miasma area is in front of us. If you don't want to die, stop right now. Aog shouted coldly. Yun Chujiu jumped down from Xiaohong. She curled her lips. Aog, even if I die, I won't go back with you. We'll meet again. Oh, right, if you want to be the Yen clan's crown prince or the future Emperor Yen, then you can live peacefully with US humans. Otherwise, I'll kill you. Aog was so angry that he laughed. Yun Chujiu, I'm not joking with you. If you go into the poisonous miasma area ahead, you'll definitely die. I can promise you that as long as you come back with me to the crown prince's residence, I won't kill you. Who are you lying to? How can you not kill me? However, you should thank me. If it wasn't for me, your royal family would still be restricted by the 4 great families. However, the power of a foreign relative is also a disaster. You are also stupid enough to dare to marry Princess Pian Pian. He Xinjiu had already stepped into the miasma area with 1 foot, so she had nothing to fear. Aog had a complicated expression on his face. The reason why he sent troops to attack the human race was to get rid of the 4 great families' suppression. Yun Chujiu had instigated the internal strife in the Yen clan, which had indirectly helped him to clear the obstacles. As for the external relatives, they were only worried about their mother. It would be easy for them to take care of King Hong Kong. Yun Chujiu, you are right. You have indirectly helped me. So, as long as you obediently follow me back to the Crown Prince's residence, not only will I not kill you, I will also treat you well, Aog said somewhat anxiously. Yun Chujiu curled her lips. It would be a ghost if she believed him. Yun Chujiu smiled brightly at Aog. Then thank you for your good intentions. However, I don't like to be manipulated by others the most. So, goodbye. I will never see you again. Yun Chujiu said that she was having fun. She slipped into the poisonous miasma area and disappeared in a moment. Aog did not expect that Yun Chujiu would really dare to enter the poisonous miasma area. He subconsciously wanted to chase after her, but was stopped by the guards beside him. Your Highness, you can't go in. That is the poisonous miasma area. If you go in, you will die. Aog stopped in his tracks dejectedly. Why did she still go in even though she knew that going in meant death? Was he so unworthy of her trust? He really did not intend to kill her. Aog was stunned for a while, and then a hint of ruthlessness flashed in his eyes. Send a message to Mo Wan and imprison King Hong Kong. Your Highness, that crown princess consort? I did not complete the marriage ceremony with her, so what kind of crown princess consort is she? Imprison her as well.
Yes.
Aog stared at the poisonous miasma forest.
Yun Chuju would not die just like that.
She cherished her life the most, so how could she go in even though she knew she was going to die? Yun Chuju, I will catch you one day. Hei Xinjiu was in a great mood at the moment. She could finally return to the primordial chaos sect and strut her stuff. Just thinking about it made her very happy, didn't it? Jin Ji and Bing Yu were probably worried sick. Senior brother and Shengguan must also be worried about her safety. Right? There was also her Lung Datus deputy alliance master. Haha. Hei Xinjiu was afraid that she would be dragged into the teleportation array again, so she deliberately avoided the place where the black fog was last time. Meng Yanshou grinned and said, "Little fairy, the teleportation array will only appear after a long time, so you can go ahead without worry." Hearing Meng Yanshou's words, Yun Chujiu heaved a sigh of relief, but she did not dare to relax. Because this fellow was afraid that AOG would arrange for people to block the exit of the Miasma district, he did not dare to delay even a single moment. A day later, Hei Xinjiu finally passed through the Miasma district. She thought that the Yen clan had already retreated to the far west, and most of the human forces in the 10,000 miles Gobi Desert should have already retreated. Therefore, she did not head towards the 10,000 miles Gobi Desert, but chose to return directly to the Hunyuan sect. She walked and stopped on the way. Hei Xinjiu actually heard a piece of news that shocked her greatly. Something had happened to the Killing Origins sect. It was said that half a month ago, a group of people had arrived outside the mountain gate of the Killing Origins sect. The person in the lead claimed that they were the direct descendants of the Killing Origins sect and asked Master Xiahou to give up the position of sect master. The people of the Killing Origins sect were instantly dumbfounded. Following that, they found out that the founder of this group of people was the disciple and grand-disciple of Patriarch Hongyuan's eldest disciple, Ji Qian. Back then, Ji Qian had gone out to train and had never returned. In addition, there was still no news from Master Hongyuan. Therefore, everyone recommended that Master Hongyuan's second disciple, Zhuang Muli, take over as the sect master of the Murderous Origin sect. After that, it had been passed down to this day. They did not expect that Ji Qian's disciple and grand-disciple would suddenly appear to compete for the position of sect master. It was really unexpected. What made the Murderous Origin sect even more troubled was that not only did these people have superb spiritual power, but the leader, Murong Hanlai, was a generation older than Master Xiahou. In terms of seniority, Master Xiahou had to address him as Master Xiahou. Then, there was a problem. If they were to really pursue this matter, Master Xiahou really did not have the right. Because according to the records of the Origin Killing sect, Master Hongyuan's favorite disciple back then was his eldest disciple, Ji Qian. He had also said long ago that the future position of the sect master must be passed on to his eldest disciple, Ji Qian. If it was not for Ji Qianyou's disappearance, the position of the sect master would not have fallen to his second disciple, Zhuang Muli. With such a serious argument, Master Xiaohu's position as the sect master became somewhat unjustified. Facing the aggressive Murong Hanlai, he was somewhat unable to withstand it. However, the vast majority of the people in the Murderous Origins sect still agreed with Master Xiahou. After all, they knew him well. Who knew what kind of person Murong Hanlai was? Moreover, he had also brought a group of direct descendants back. If he were to take over power in the future, they would not have a good ending. Of course, there were also some people who had long harbored feelings for Master Xiahou. They took the opportunity to fan the flames and joined Murong Hanlai. For a time, the Murderous Origin sect was in chaos. Hei Xinjiu blinked her eyes. Back when she had obtained the ring of Hongyuan Master in the Burning Sky Mystic Realm, that stupid flood dragon had once shown her a portrait. It was said that that person was Hongyuan Master's disciple. It must be that eldest disciple, Ji Qian. Hei Xinjiu curled her lips. In terms of seniority, who could be higher than her? The murderous origin sect and the Hunyuan sect would belong to her sooner or later. Now, Murong Hanlai had appeared and snatched her murderous origin sect. He was really courting death. He Xinjiu pondered for a moment. Right now, her spiritual power was too low. If she went directly to the Killing Yuan sect to show off, there was a high chance that she would not have a good ending. Therefore, she had to go and check on the situation first. Therefore, this guy did not return to the Mixed Yuan sect. Instead, he ran straight to the Killing Yuan sect. After going through so many things, this guy became much more cautious. When he reached the entrance of the Killing Yuan sect, he finally told Lin Chuan and the others that she was still alive. As for Jin Ji and Yi Bingyu, they had already learned from Infeng that she was safe and sound. Therefore, when the disciples guarding the gate of the Murder Essence sect saw He Xinjiu, it was as if they had seen a ghost. Bad news bag, you're still alive? One of the disciples said with his eyes wide open. He Xinjiu curled her lips. Of course I'm still alive, and am still living quite well. The great hero who fought against the Yen clan, have returned. Why aren't you guys going in to deliver the letter? It's fine if Master Xiahou doesn't welcome me. At the very least, he should send a few peak masters to welcome me, right? The corners of the eyes of the disciples guarding the mountain gate twitched. However, they still used their identity jade tokens to send a message to the upper echelons of the murderous origin sect. At this moment, the meeting hall was filled with a tense atmosphere. Master Xiahou sat on the main seat, and an old man sat on his left hand. It was Murong Hanlai. His face was cold and ruthless, and the pressure he released made everyone present uncomfortable. Master Xiahou, we've already been here for more than half a month. You've been dragging this out. When are you going to give us an answer? Master Xiahou was actually feeling a little conflicted. It was fine if he didn't want to be the sect master himself, and this Murong Hanlai did indeed have a reason to take back the position of sect master. However, he didn't represent himself alone. He represented the entire murderous origin sect. It was impossible for him to easily hand over such a large sect to someone who suddenly appeared. Moreover, after these few days of open and secret investigations, he discovered that the people Murong Hanlai brought with him had ill intentions. In less than half a month, many bad rumors had already spread. For example, they had used their spiritual power and seniority to oppress the disciples of the murderous origin sect, and even molested female disciples. If they were to gain power, the murderous origin sect would probably be ruined beyond recognition. However, Murong Hanlai had used his seniority and so-called orthodoxy to force him to express his stance as soon as possible. It had practically caused his hair to turn white from worry. Master Xiahou now felt that even when Yun Shuzhou, that bad news bag, was still around, he had never been so worried. Now that he thought about it, at that time, he was still a little blissful. Unfortunately, that little girl had been captured by the Yen clan, and there was still no news of her. She was most likely dead. It was really a pity. When Master Xiahou heard Murong Hanlai's aggressive question, he could only say with a smile, "Martial uncle, the change of master is not a small matter. We need to take a long time to think about it. Please wait a few more days."
Humph.
Senior martial brother Xiahou, it's not that my words are harsh, but what's the big deal? Isn't it just that you don't want to give up the position of sect master? My master said that as long as you give up the position of sect master, he will let you be the deputy sect master. What's there to be dissatisfied about? The one who spoke was Murong Hanlai's disciple, Wen Qianchuan. Master Xiahou and the others were unhappy when they heard Wen Qianchuan's words. Mountain Master Zhao had a fiery temper. They immediately said, "Junior martial brother Wen, this is such a big matter. There's nothing wrong with us discussing it for a few more days, right? Are we going to give up the position of sect master now?" When Qianchuan snorted, "So, what if you give it up now? You've already occupied it for so many years. Shouldn't you return it to its original owner earlier?" Mountain Master Zhao wanted to argue, but Murong Hanlai released his pressure on him. Mountain Master Zhao's forehead immediately began to sweat. He was so angry that he gritted his teeth, but he could only keep his mouth shut. While the atmosphere in the meeting hall was still tense, Mountain Master Zhao's jade token started to shake. After sending his divine sense in, Mountain Master Zhao said with a wide grin, "Sect Master, little Jiu is back."
She's not dead. Haha.
I knew this bad news bag wouldn't die so easily. She really came back alive. Sect Master Xiaohou immediately stood up. What? Yun Chujiu is back? That's great. This little girl is really lucky. Peak Master Mo of Water Mountain also echoed, I told you that this little girl would be fine. Congratulations. Murong Hanley's eyes flashed with a trace of viciousness as he asked coldly, Martial Nephew Xiaohou, who is Yun Chujiu? Why are you so happy that she has returned safely? Sect Master Xiaohou paused for a moment, then said, although Yun Chujiu is only a servant of our murderous Yuan sect, she has made great contributions during the battle between the human race and the nightmare race. Previously, she was captured by the Yen clan during the battle. We thought she was already dead, but we didn't expect her to come back safe and sound. When Qianchuan pursed his lips, a small fire-burning handyman made great contributions? Senior Brother Xiaohou, are you joking? Even if you want to change the topic, say something reliable. A fire-burning handyman made great contributions. Could it be that the cultivators of the Central Plains are already weak to this extent? TSK, I advise you to return the position of sect master to my master. Otherwise, I think that sooner or later, the Killing Origins sect will become an unrated small sect. Master Xiaohou could not stand it anymore. Junior Brother Wen, the human race and the Yen race have suffered countless casualties in the battle. How can we treat it as a joke? For the battle for the sect master, I will give my senior uncle an explanation. Please watch your words. Master Xiaohou also had a bad temper. However, he now felt that he was in the wrong. Moreover, due to Murong Hanley's seniority, otherwise, he would have been enraged long ago. When Qianchuan wanted to say more, but Murong Hanlei snorted coldly and did not speak. Since this Yun Chujiu of yours has worked so hard and achieved so much, why don't you let her come over? I want to see the rising star of our Shi Yuan sect. Murong Hanlei said in a deep voice. Master Xiaohou used to think that He Xinjiu was a bad person and wished that he could never see her again. But now, he felt a sense of pride and honor. He immediately sent a message to Leng Kuei and asked him to bring He Xinjiu to the meeting hall. Leng Kuei heard that Yun Chujiu had returned and arrived at the front gate of the Killing Yuan sect at the fastest speed in his life. He Xinjiu had thought that there would be a grand welcoming ceremony, but when Leng Kuei arrived, he could not help but curl his lips. Senior Brother Leng Kuei, you are not the only one who came to welcome me, are you? Leng Kuei saw that Yun Chujiu was safe and sound, and his nose felt a little sour. He had been living like a year these days, even though he still did not like He Xinjiu's personality. However, he had to admit that this junior sister was a special little girl. Although she was lazy and crafty, and she caused trouble, it was this little girl who had turned the tide of the battle between the human race and the nightmare race. She had almost single-handedly allowed the human race to obtain victory. Leng Kuei and Lin Chuan and Shang Guanhao had also tried to sneak into the Yen clan camp to save Yun Chujiu, but they were discovered by Mountain Master Zhua and the others. In the end, they were escorted back to the sect. Therefore, these days, Leng Kuei had been living in self-blame and guilt. Vice Alliance Master Leng Datu, are you stupid? Why aren't you saying anything? He Xinjiu tilted her head and said with a smile. Leng Datu instantly fed Leng Kuei's excitement to the dogs. Leng Kuei glared at her. Humph. You're just a busboy. It's already good enough that I came to pick you up. The sect leader asked me to bring you to the meeting hall. He Xinjiu curled her lips. Although I am just a little busboy, I have made great contributions. If it weren't for me, the Nightmare clan might have already conquered the vast Gobi Desert. Although Leng Kuei knew that what He Xinjiu said was true, He also knew that this fellow was giving him a hard time, so he didn't say anything and just let He Xinjiu grumble about her great achievements along the way. When they were about to reach the meeting hall, Leng Kuei instructed, "Morong Hanley's people are vicious and merciless. You should restrain yourself later. Otherwise, my master might not be able to protect you. After all, Morong Hanley's seniority is 1 generation higher than my master's." He Xinjiu blinked her eyes and said in a low voice, "Senior brother Leng Kuei, do you hate those people very much?" Leng Kuei snorted coldly, which was a tacit agreement. "Senior brother Leng Kuei, this is your fault. Morong Hanlai is a legitimate direct descendant. Isn't it reasonable for him to come back for the position of the sect leader?" He Xinjiu said with a smile. "You, humph. You ingrate. My master has protected you so many times, and you are actually helping others." Leng Kuei glared at He Xinjiu angrily. He Xinjiu bared her little white teeth. "Senior brother Leng Kuei, what are you so anxious for?" "I'm joking with you. I don't care whether he is a direct descendant or not. Even if Patriarch Hanyuan is resurrected from the dead, the sect master of the murderous origin sect is not his place." Leng Kuei was so scared that he almost sat on the ground when he saw Yun Chuju saying such outrageous words. He was both angry and scared. "Shut up. Don't spout nonsense. I'm warning you. Behave yourself when you enter the meeting hall later." The corner of He Xinjiu's mouth curled up slightly. "Don't worry, I will behave myself. After all, I have always been obedient and won't cause any trouble." Leng Kuei was even more anxious when he heard what she said. The more pretentious this fellow was, the more ill-intentioned he was. If she really made a fuss, the more chaotic the murderous origins sect would be. Leng Kuei wanted to persuade her again, but he didn't expect He Xinjiu to have already rushed into the meeting hall, so he could only run after her. "Sect Master. Peak Master's little Jiu embark. I heard a rumor on the way that you're going to give up the position of Sect Master to me because of me saving the human race. Is that true?" He Xinjiu asked crisply. The meeting hall was dead silent. Everyone was dumbfounded. Leng Kuei, who had just stepped into the meeting hall with 1 foot, almost sat on the ground. No wonder this troublemaker said that even if Patriarch Hanyuan came back from the dead, he would not be the sect master of the murderous origin sect. So, she wanted to be the sect master of the murderous origin sect? Master Xiaohou felt that it was not bad to give up the position of the sect master. Even if he gave up the position of the sect master to this troublemaker, it would be better than giving it to Morong Hanlai. Therefore, he coughed and said, "I did plan to do so, but something unexpected has happened. We will talk about this later. That is Senior Morong, my martial uncle. Why don't you go and pay your respects?" Yun Chujiu turned to look at Morong Hanlai and said with a smile, "Hello, Senior Morong. Since you are the senior uncle of the sect master, your spiritual power must be very powerful, right?" Morong Hanlai had not said anything yet when Qian Chuan snorted coldly. "What an ignorant junior. My master's spiritual power is naturally the #1 in the immortal Yuan continent. You, a handyman who burns a fire, actually want to become the sect master. You really overestimate yourself." The smile on Yun Chujia's face became even brighter. "From what you said, you are Senior Murong's disciple. Then your spiritual power isn't bad either?" "Of course." When Qian Chuan said arrogantly, TSK, then this junior doesn't understand. Since you and Senior Murong's spiritual power are both so high, why didn't I see you helping out when the human race and the nightmare race fought previously? On the contrary, now that the battle has calmed down, you guys have come to snatch my position as sect master? You guys really know how to take advantage." He Xinjiu said with a disdainful expression. The meeting hall fell into a strange silence once more. Her position as sect master? Pui. Shameless. She really dared to say it. However, Mountain Master Zhao and the others felt that this little girl was right. She was too fucking right. They dared to be angry, but didn't dare to say anything. "Little Nine, shut up. How can you talk to martial uncle and junior martial brother one? Although you're young, you can't just say whatever you want. Why don't you step aside and wait for us to finish our business before we ask you what happened? Master Xiaohou reprimanded. Although he said that, Master Xiaohou gave He Xinjiu countless thumbs up in his heart. He had been feeling extremely aggrieved these past few days, and finally, he had a sharp tongue. He Xinjiu immediately said, Master, I was wrong. I haven't seen much of the world, and I was almost killed by the Yen clansmen, so I can only speak the truth now. I'm really sorry to Senior Morong and Senior Wen. When Qian Chuan was so angry that he almost vomited blood. What did he mean by only speaking the truth? It was as if he hadn't apologized at all. This brat was really hateful. Morong Hanley's cold eyes looked at Yun Chujiu and released a huge pressure on Hei Xinjiu. Mountain Master Zhao and company were about to make a move, but they found that Hei Xinjiu acted as if nothing had happened. She ran to Master Xiaohe's side, took out a small stool, sat down, and started to eat the pastries on the table. Everyone, the shadow in Master Xiaohe's and company's hearts was somehow lightened by this scene. It was as if with the return of this bad news bag, there was light shining out from the darkness, and it was filled with hope. When Qian Chuan slammed the table, Brother Xiaohou, she's a handyman. How can she sit with you? Where do you place my master and us?
Where?
Aren't you sitting there? Where do you think you're going? Besides, the current sect master is still Master Xiaohou, and the Master Xiaohou is still in charge of the Murderous Elements sect. Why are you calling me a guest? You keep calling the sect Master Senior Brother. Do you even look like a junior brother? If I didn't know better, I would have thought you were a senior brother. Even if you want to take over the magpie's nest, your eating style is too ugly. Furthermore, your dove might be roasted before it can take over the magpie's nest. Mountain Master Zhao couldn't help but laugh out loud. This little 9 girl's words were too interesting. When Qian Chuan was so angry that he almost spat out a mouthful of blood. You, Senior Martial Brother Xiaohou, is the dove taking over the magpie's nest. My master is the orthodox choice for the sect master. Yun Chujiu took out her small teacup and poured a cup of tea. She sipped a few sips and said, Pandy and Zero Vel. Calm, the sect master has taken over the magpie's nest? This sect master position was not snatched by our sect master. It was passed down from generation to generation. If you have the ability, go and ask Grandmaster Zhuang for it. We live young and don't know anything about what happened back then. Even if you say something flowery, we won't admit it. We are just so shameless. How about it? The meeting hall was so quiet that one could hear the sound of a needle falling to the ground. Everyone was stunned by Hei Xinjiu's shameless words. Oh my God. She could actually say such shameless words as if it was a matter of course. How thick-skinned was she? However, the people from the Murderous Origin sect felt that although this fellow said it shamelessly, his words were simply too fucking good. If they could also be so shameless, how could there be so many things? Although they were not Morong Hanley's match, it was difficult for 2 fists to fight against 4 hands. They might not necessarily lose. When Qian Chuan had obviously never seen such a shameless person like Hei Xinjiu. For a moment, he could not even say a word. Morong Hanlei glanced at Hei Xinjiu sinisterly. He said coldly, Martial nephew Xiaohou, this old man will not stoop to the level of a junior like her. If you feel that you don't have a clear conscience if you don't give up the position of sect master, then just treat it as if I didn't come this time. Although our group has never made a name for themselves in the Central Plains, the Sea of 10,000 Ruins has always been under our control. Our strength may not be comparable to the Murderous Origin sect, but it may not necessarily be much weaker. If Master Xiaohou has never expressed a stance, then I can only use force to take back my things. Moreover, I do not believe that the fellow Taoists of the Immortal Origin continent cannot distinguish right from wrong. I must seek justice. Just as Hei Xinjiu was about to speak, Master Xiaohou gave her a look and said to Morong Hanlei, Martial uncle, please calm down. Little Jiu is not sensible. I will punish her later. As for the position of sect master, please allow us to discuss further. I will give you an answer as soon as possible. Murong Hanlai heard Master Xiahou say this. He softened his tone. Martial nephew Xiahou, what I said just now is a bit harsh. However, this was the last instruction left behind by the ancestral master. He told us that if we have the chance, we must take back control of the murderous origin sect. This is also to comply with the last order of ancestral master Hongyuan. I am also not willing to really use force. After all, we share the same root. If we fight against each other, we would really be letting down the ancestors of the murderous origin sect. Yun Chujio secretly curled her lips. Even after becoming a watch, she still had to set up a memorial tablet. This was the kind of person she was talking about. If it wasn't for the fact that the time wasn't ripe, she would have shown the sect leader ring to blind his dog eyes. Why is he still pretending to be a big shot here? Little ninth ancestor will torture you to death. Although He Xinjie was cursing in her heart, she knew that she had been showing off enough today. She would stop when the time was right. After all, this matter involved a lot of things. It wasn't something that could be solved with just a few words from her. She still had to think long-term. Hence, this fellow only sipped on his tea and did not interrupt. Master Xiahou saw that Murong Hanlai had changed the topic, so he said a few more polite words. At this moment, when Qian Chuan said with a fake smile, Yun Chujio, you were captured by the Yen clan previously. Why did you come back safely? Could it be that you did something shameful, such as becoming a spy for the Yen clan? As soon as when Qianchuan's words left his mouth, the meeting hall fell into silence, once again. Although Master Xiahou and the others didn't think that Yun Chujio would be a spy of the Yen clan, but how did a little girl like her escape from the Yen clan? Leng Kuei's face was cold as he said indignantly, Senior Wen, if it wasn't for junior sister Jiu, the 10,000 miles Gobi Desert would have been conquered by the Yen clan long ago. She wouldn't have joined the Yen clan at all. You are slandering her. When Qian Chuan slammed the table. How dare you? I'm just asking. Can I even ask? Besides, anything is possible. She has indeed made contributions in the past, but that doesn't mean that she isn't a spy of the Yen clan now. As when Qian Chuan spoke, he released his coercion towards Leng Kuei. Leng Kuei wasn't good with words to begin with. After being pressured by Wen Qianchuan's coercion, he was even more speechless. His face flushed red, obviously extremely angry. He Xinjiu was the most protective. She picked up Master Xiaohu's teacup and smashed it onto the ground.
Clang.
Everyone was shocked by this guy's valiant behavior. Master Xiahou was dumbfounded. You want to smash your own teacup? Why did you want to smash his? I'm sorry, I heard a joke, so my hand slipped. He Xinjiu looked innocent. The corners of everyone's eyes twitched. How could a slip of the hand send the teacup flying so far? Moreover, that was clearly Master Xiaohu's teacup, all right. Just as when Qian Chuan was about to question her. He heard He Xinjiu say with a cold little face, Why did I hear what you said before? I deserve to die in the nightmare race? You, and I don't have the hatred of killing my father and stealing my husband. Do you have to curse me like that? Besides, do you know why the Nightmare Clan is fighting among themselves? Do you know why the Nightmare Clan suddenly withdrew their troops? You, a coward who doesn't even dare to go on the battlefield, actually suspect that I'm a spy?
Your skin is really thick.
Why are you glaring at me? Do you want to bite me? Let me tell you, although I'm a small handyman of the Murder Origin sect, you're not a member of the Murder Origin sect yet. If you dare to touch me, I'll break your legs. Do you think that my scolding is very unpleasant? What you said just now was 10,000 times worse than that. I risked my life for the human race and risked my life for the human race. In the end, I was called a spy of the Yen race. I don't want to live anymore. Master, don't pull me. I will kill myself in this meeting hall today. Let the people of the immortal Essence continent see how in Qian Chuan killed the hero of the human race. He Xinjiu was about to stand up and crash into the wall. Master Xiahou grasped her arm and said, Little Jiu, calm down. If you really crash into death here, our murderous Yuan sect will be drowned by everyone's saliva. Forcing the hero of the human race to death is going against everyone in the immortal Yuan continent. Morong Hanlai and the others were dumbfounded. How could there be such a bad thing in the murderous Yuan sect? Throwing teacups and knocking into walls at every turn, this was too shameless. However, it had to be said that such shameless actions were very effective. Murong Hanlai glared at Wen Qianchuan. He comforted her. "Little girl, Qianchuan made a slip of the tongue just now. Don't take it to heart. For my sake, let's put this matter behind us." Hei Xinjiu wiped away her non-existent tears. "All right. Since Senior Morong said so, I'll bear with it even if I have to suffer thousands of grievances. I just hope that Senior one would think twice before speaking next time. Otherwise, not everyone is as easy to talk to as me." When Qianchuan was so angry that he gritted his teeth, but he did not dare to disobey Morong Hanlai. He could only glare at Hei Xinjiu without saying a word. Leng Kuei's admiration for Hei Xinjiu rose to another level. It was still junior sister Xiao Jiu. Even if the teacup fell, even if he scolded Wen Qianchuan, he could only suffer in silence. "Master Xiahou, how about this? I will give you another 10 days of discussion time. If there is still no result by then, don't blame Master for acting old." Morong Hanlai said with a cold look in his eyes. Master Xiahou had no choice but to agree. Only then did Morong Hanlai leave the meeting hall with Wen Qianchuan and the others.
Bah!
What the hell? Master, do you really intend to give the position of master to that old thing? Hei Xinjiu asked. Master Xiahou didn't comment and instead asked, "Little girl, what do you think about this?" Hei Xinjia's heart moved slightly as she blinked her eyes. She probed, "Master, if I were to say that I was to say that I was to say that I was to say that if I had a higher seniority than you and the lost sect master ring, would you give up the position of sect master to me?" Before Master Xiahou could say anything, Mountain Master Zhao from the Fire Peak said, "Haha, little girl, you sure have a lot of imagination. Don't say that it's impossible. Even if it's true, it's impossible for a little girl like you to become the sect master of our killing Yuan clan." Yun Chujiu pouted. "Mountain Master Zhao, why is that? Isn't that simple? If we really let a little girl like you become our sect master and our elder, where would we put our face? Even if you really have the sect mastering, with your low spiritual power, can you keep your sect master position?" Mountain Master Zhao said disdainfully. "But the sect master said that because I'm a human, he wants to give me the sect master position." Hei Xinjiu said unwillingly. Peak Master Mo of Water Mountain said with a smile, "Little girl, this is just a delaying tactic of the sect master. Even if he really gives the position of sect master to you, you're just a figurehead. When the limelight has passed, you can find a reason to return the position of sect master to Master Xiahou. Then why are you so polite to Morong Hanlai? Can't you just fight him out?" Hei Xinjiu asked in confusion. "We are indeed concerned about his official identity, but that's not the most important thing. The main thing is that his spiritual power is higher than all of us here, even higher than the Grand Elders. Also, their branch has occupied the Sea of 10,000 ruins for several years, and their strength cannot be underestimated. If they turn hostile, I'm afraid that the immortal Essence continent will cause a stir. Moreover, with this opportunity, we can also see how many people in the sect are traitors. It's just the right time to clean up the sect." Hei Xinjiu cursed in her heart. She knew that these people would not be so silly and sweet. Indeed, they had other plans. Fortunately, she did not reveal the sect leader's ring rashly. Otherwise, not only would she admit it or not admit it, she might even get herself killed. This incident made Hei Xinjiu understand once again that strength was the absolute truth. Her spiritual power wasn't high now, and she didn't have her own forces. It was a fool's dream for her to rely on the sect leader's ring to gain a firm foothold in the Killing Yuan sect. This fellow sighed inwardly. The so-called alliance leader of the unaffiliated Cultivator Alliance had basically ended the war, and he had become a commander without any support. Otherwise, he would still be able to show off his might. Sect Master Xiahou saw that Yun Chujiu was in a low mood. He smiled and said, "Little Nine, you have just returned. Go back and rest first. Don't worry, you have made contributions to the human race this time. After our discussion, we will definitely reward you heavily." Hearing Master Xiaohu's words, Yun Chujiu smiled and said, "Thank you, Master Xiahou. I'll be going back now." This fellow was very tactful. He did not mention anything about giving the position of master to her and obediently left the meeting hall. As for Morong Hanley's matter, Master Xiahou and the others obviously had a countermeasure. It was impossible for them to hand over the position of master to Morong Hanlei. It was just a matter of when they would shed all pretense of cordiality. After He Xinjiu figured out the joints inside, she could not help but shake her head and smile bitterly. She had treated herself too much. Even Morong Hanlei had such powerful strength behind him, and the people of the murderous Yuan sect did not acknowledge it, not to mention that she only had one sect master ring. Yun Chujiu self-examined herself. These days, she was clearly a little complacent. She had to cultivate properly. Therefore, she sprinted back to her own yard. Yun Chujiu cleaned the yard briefly. She stayed in the yard to train and try to break through to the spiritual space level as soon as possible. After the servants of the Killing Sect and the Hunyuan sect broke through to the spiritual space level, they could become inner disciples immediately. Their treatment would also be improved accordingly. Sitting in her room, He Xinjiu recalled the crow's mouth skill that she had developed when she was in the Dark Continent. Blinking her eyes, she stood in the yard and shouted in a low voice, "Little Wu Yun, hurry up and hit me with lightning." There was no response in the clear sky. Acting cool is struck by lightning. Wasting is struck by lightning. Lying is struck by lightning. There was not even a white cloud in the sky, let alone Wu Yun. Fuck, could it be that the crow's mouth skill was only useful in the Dark Continent? It was very likely that it was useful because Wu Yun in the Dark Continent did not know her. He Xinjiu regretted it. If she had known earlier, she would have thought of a way to stir up some trouble in the Dark Continent so that she could be struck by lightning. He Xinjiu did not attract the heavenly lightning, so she discussed with Guai Chao and He Zhuzi, asking them to spit out some lightning power to let her break through. As for the Great Void Mirror, it was as if it was dead, and there was still no reaction. He Xinjiu did not count on it anymore. Although Guai Chao and He Zhu were unwilling, they had no choice but to spit out the power of lightning to let He Xinjiu wash her dantian and use it to break through. He Xinjiu cultivated for a few days and spent a lot of effort. She barely broke through one level and arrived at the 8th level of the spiritual void tier. This guy was holding his breath. He had broken through at least 2 levels every time. Why did he only break through 1 level this time? This fellow cursed at Guai Chao and Blackbeard. He thought that they must not have used their full strength, which was why they had only broken through 1 level. Blackbeard ate for free as usual, without any reaction. Guai Chao, on the other hand, shook its leaves in a wronged manner. It meant that He Xinjiu had not absorbed the power of lightning for a long time, and the landowners did not have any grain left. He Xinjiu held her chin and was very worried. Wu Yun of the immortal Yuan continent had clearly learned his lesson and did not strike her at all. If this continued, when would she become stronger? Not to mention taking control of the Murder Yuan sect and the Han Yuan sect. Just as He Xinjiu was feeling extremely depressed, someone knocked on the door. He Xinjiu arrived at the door impatiently. When she opened the door, she saw an old acquaintance, Chu Shanshan. Chu Shanshan was the female disciple from the Wood Peak who was sent flying to the Kanji pot by Di Baiming. Yun Chujiu frowned. Was she here to cause trouble? Chu Shanshan gloated and said to Yun Chujiu, "Senior, when Qianchuan asked me to bring you over. He has something to ask you." Chu Shanshan hated Yun Chujiu to death. However, firstly, she did not have the chance to take revenge. Secondly, Yun Chujio was getting more and more popular, so she did not dare to directly go against her. These few days, when she heard that Yun Chujio had angered Wen Qianchuan and the others, she immediately gloated over Yun Chujio's misfortune. She felt that Yun Chujio's good days had come to an end. Chu Shanshan's older brother, Chu Quan, was the personal disciple of Mountain Master Ren of the Wood Peak. In the past, he was highly regarded. However, ever since the assassinations incident last time, Mountain Master Ren had not treated Chu Quan as he used to. Moreover, in this war between the human race and the Yen race, Chu Quan's name was originally there, but Chu Quan found an excuse not to go. Mountain Master Ren was even more disappointed in Chu Quan. Chu Quan's thoughts were mysterious. He felt that if this continued, he might not be able to maintain his position as a successor disciple, so he had to find a new backer. The arrival of Morong Hanlai and the others this time instantly gave him hope. He felt that in the end, the Shi Yuan sect would definitely fall into Morong Hanlai's hands. Therefore, not only did he often go to Wen Qianchuan and the others to curry favor with them, but he also brought Chu Shanshan along to do so. Because the Chu siblings were somewhat useful, Wen Qianchuan was also quite nice to the Chu siblings. The Chu siblings had often fanned the flames in front of Wen Qianchuan. Moreover, Yun Chujio had already offended Wen Qianchuan, so today, Wen Qianchuan had set up a trap, waiting for Yun Chujio to take the bait. When Chu Shanshan thought of Yun Chujio's ending, the pride in her eyes could not be hidden any longer. She urged, "Yun Chujio, are your ears not working or something? Did you hear what I said? Senior Wen wants you to hurry over." "I'm not going. Get lost." He Xinjiu shut the door with a bang.
She was not stupid.
Wen Qianchuan was definitely not looking for her. She was not going. Even in her dreams, Qiu Shanshan did not expect such an outcome. She shouted in exasperation, "How dare you not go when Senior Wen asked you to? Aren't you afraid that Senior Wen will report you to the sect leader?" He Xinjiu snorted coldly in the courtyard, "Don't drag me down with you. You are a disciple of the murderous Yuan sect, not Wen Qianchuan's lackey. Get lost. If you don't leave now, I will use the talisman to blow you into a curly chicken." Chu Shanshan was so angry that she almost died. However, when she thought about how He Xinjiu could do anything, she left in a huff. He Xinjiu rolled her eyes. There was a high chance that Wen Qianchuan would not let the matter rest. He might even come and find fault with her personally. He Xinjiu snorted coldly. It was fine if he did not come. If he did, she would teach him a lesson so that her Dehua could make an appearance. Speaking of which, although its Dehua was very brave, it hadn't been shown in front of these people yet. It was a good opportunity to establish its power so that it wouldn't think that a small handyman like her was easy to provoke. After a while, as expected, Chu Shanshan's proud shout came from outside the door. "Yun Chujio, Senior Wen is here. Why aren't you going out to greet him?" He Xinjiu curled her lips. Judging from Wen Qianchuan's unrestrained behavior, it was impossible for them to get the position of the sect leader. Outside, Chu Shanshan shouted when she saw Yun Chujio, "Yun Chujio, I know you're inside. If you don't come out now, I'll break in." Yun Chujio said coldly, "Chu Shanshan, if you dare to break my door, I'll break your leg. If you don't believe me, you can try." Hearing Yun Chujio's threat, Chu Shanshan was terrified. Wen Qianchuan snorted and smashed He Xinjiu's door into pieces. Seeing the situation inside, Wen Qianchuan and the others were stunned on the spot. Wen Qianchuan and the others saw He Xinjiu sitting beside the stone table, leisurely drinking tea. There were all kinds of pastries on the stone table, looking very relaxed. Qiu Shanshan said sharply, "Yun Chujio, why don't you open the door for Senior Wen? Don't you know that the elders are superior to the young?" Yun Chujio did not even look at her and said leisurely, "I only know that no guest would come uninvited and even break the door of the host's house. It seems that the customs of the Sea of Ruins are 80% different from ours." When Qianchuan snorted coldly, "What a sharp-tongued girl. Today I will teach you the rules." When Wen Qianchuan was in the meeting hall, he wanted to teach Yun Chujiu a lesson. However, because of Master Xiahou and the others, he swallowed his anger and did not make a move. He felt that although Yun Chujiu had made contributions in the battle between the human race and the nightmare race, it was all an empty title. At the end of the day, she was just a small handyman. Even if he really killed her, no one could do anything to her. As Wen Qianchuan spoke, he slapped his palm towards Yun Chujiu. Yun Chujiu naturally would not sit still and wait for her death. She leaped to the side and dodged Wen Qianchuan's palm. However, Wen Qianchuan's palm smashed the stone table and stone stool into pieces. Yun Chujiu's eyes turned cold. Senior Wen, you are not my master, and you are not a member of the Shiyuan sect. What right do you have to teach me a lesson? Could it be that you can't force Master Xiahou to give up the position of the sect master to you, and you're going to start a massacre? Smelly girl. Don't spout nonsense. Today I am going to lecture you, this little slut who doesn't know your place. Don't talk about it elsewhere. Wen Qianchuan said in a flustered and exasperated manner. Smelly girl? Little slut? TSK, Senior Wen's words are really filthy. I wonder if it was Senior Morong who instructed you to lecture me? You guys are really capable. You don't dare to reason with Master Xiahou and the others, yet you dare to bully me, a small handyman who is lighting a fire. However, even the small handyman who is lighting a fire in the murderous origin sect is not someone to be trifled with. I'm warning you, stop right now, or I won't hold back anymore. Although He Xinjiu had long been prepared to make a move, she did so with courtesy first, so that she would not be picked on by others. This fellow was afraid that a fight would destroy her courtyard. He ran out of the courtyard in a flash and shouted, "If you have the ability, come out and fight. I'm not even afraid of the Nightmare Clan, so why should I be afraid of you?" When Qianchuan was already very angry. After being provoked by He Xinjiu's words, he became even angrier. His figure flashed, and he slapped Yun Chujiu once again. He Xinjiu dodged Wen Qianchuan's attack nimbly again. The two of them fought each other. However, He Xinjiu did not fight back. She just kept dodging. The guy shouted while he was dodging, "Come and take a look, everybody. Someone is bullying a little girl because of his old age. He is so shameless. How strange." As a guest, he did not stay in the guest house properly. Instead, he came to my yard, where I was a handyman, to beat someone up. A guy like him wants to steal the position of the sect leader of our Shiyuan sect. Do you think he is shameless? Don't miss him. The most shameless person on the Immortal Essence continent is the one in front of you. He beat up the Nightmare Clan like a cowardly turtle, but now he's here to beat up the hero of the Battle Nightmare Clan. Yun Chujiu's shout quickly attracted many disciples of the Killing Origin sect. However, because He Xinjiu's dormitory was at the foot of the Golden Peak, most of the people in the vicinity were handymen and outer court disciples. Although they were filled with righteous indignation at He Xinjiu's words, they did not dare to step forward to help. He Xinjiu blinked her eyes and shouted, "Senior brothers and sisters, are you going to watch me being bullied? What about your courage as the disciples of the Heaven-Killing sect? Don't make me look down on you." The servants and disciples of the Heaven-Killing sect had been very dissatisfied with Wen Qianchuan and the rest of them recently. Together with He Xinjiu's instigation, they were all in an uproar. Yes, beat him up. Damn it, our Sky-Killing sect was originally fine, but they just had to come and cause trouble. That's right. Yun Chujiu, a small odd-job worker, is not even afraid of him. What are we afraid of? It's a waste not to beat him up. Let's beat him up together. Wen Qianchuan did not come alone. He had also brought 7 or 8 disciples. But how could he be a match for so many people? In an instant, he was beaten black and blue. Even Chu Shanshan was implicated and was beaten up a few times. Seeing this, Wen Qianchuan flew into a rage out of humiliation. He immediately released his own spiritual beast, a huge spiritual tiger and 2 huge spiritual wolves. The three huge spiritual beasts instantly intimidated the odd-job workers and outer sect disciples of the Shi Yuan sect. Everyone was so scared that they retreated one after another. Only then did they remember that this Wen Qianquan was said to be at the fourth layer of the spiritual space realm. Although they had more people, they were still not his match. Wen Qianquan looked at Yun Chuzhou coldly and said, "Stupid girl, you are good at bewitching people, but in the face of absolute strength, your little tricks are useless.
Die."
Seeing that the situation was not good, the people of the Shi Yuan sect hurriedly shouted at Yun Chuzhou, don't be stupid. Run quickly. Yes, run quickly. If you don't run, you will die. Go find Master Xiahou quickly. The corner of Yun Chuzhou's mouth curled up slightly, and she said with curved brows and eyes, "Why are you running? Isn't it just a silly cat and 2 broken dogs? If my spirit beast is released, it will definitely scare them to death. Everyone, don't you even recognize tigers and wolves? Moreover, there is a limit to your bragging, okay? Let's not talk about what your spirit beast is. How can a spirit beast at the 6th level of the Lingxian realm compare to a spirit beast at the 4th level of the Lingkong realm?" This Yun Chuzhou was usually quite smart, but why was she so confused today? Could it be that she had become a hero of the human race and got carried away? Just when everyone was puzzled, they saw He Xinjiu raise her hand, and with a whoosh, a cute spiritual piglet jumped out. Everyone was stunned. Piglet? Are you playing? Just as everyone was thinking, 20 cute little piggy with spiritual power jumped out. Could it be that Yun Chuzhou wanted to win with numbers? Stop fooling around. Such a weak spiritual beast, not to mention 20, even 200 would be a waste. When Qianquan snorted, "Yun Chuzhou, do you think you can win against my spiritual beast with these little piggies?" Yun Chuzhou nodded solemnly. "Yes, I will show you my invincible little piggies today." Both Wen Qianquan and the people of the Shi Yuan sect thought that He Xinjiu must have lost her mind. It would be a miracle if these little piggies could win. When Qianquan snorted, "You really won't shed tears until you see the coffin. Prepare to die." When Qianquan waved his hand and 3 spiritual beasts pounced towards He Xinjiu, the people of the murderous Yuan sect could not bear to watch. There was no need to guess the result. Yun Chuzhou was dead for sure. Those piglets of spiritual power could not even hold on for more than 10 breaths, let alone defeat those 3 spiritual beasts. The group of people closed their eyes and waited for a while, but they did not hear He Xinjiu scream. They opened their eyes and took a look. Those piglets of spiritual power actually blocked 3 spiritual power beasts. Only then did they realize that the most special thing about those piglets of spiritual power was that they could actually turn the enemy's spiritual power into their own. Therefore, even if they were very weak, they could still hold on for a period of time. TSK. Although this Yun Chuzhou's spiritual beast was a little weak, it was quite strange. When Qianquan was obviously a little surprised, but he snorted coldly and said, "Yun Chuzhou, although your spiritual beast is a little special, in a few more breaths, your spiritual beast won't be able to hold on." Yun Chuzhou said indifferently, "If you can't hold on, then you can't hold on. And not in a hurry. Why are you in a hurry? Are you crazy?" When Qianquan almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Good. Stupid girl, you're still stubborn even at the end of your life. You'll have a hard time later. The people of the murderous Yuan sect had the same thoughts as Wen Qianquan. They thought to themselves, "Is this Yun Chuzhou stupid? Why didn't she use this time to escape?" When the little piglet of spiritual power dissipated, she would be dead for sure. Sure enough, after a few dozen breaths, the little piglet's figure became fainter and fainter. It looked like it was about to dissipate. When Qianquan's face revealed a proud expression. Although this wretched girl's spiritual power was not high, she was definitely a scourge. It was just nice to find a reason to kill her today. Once and for all. Chu Shanshan, who was at the side, said proudly, "Yun Chuzhou, just admit your mistake and beg for mercy. Otherwise, you will definitely die a horrible death." She no longer cared about the thoughts of the murderous origin sect disciples. A bunch of idiots. Her brother was the most knowledgeable one. Once they took power, HMPH. The people of the murderous origin sect looked at Yun Chujio worriedly. They were worried and conflicted. Should they rush up to save her later? Save them. Those 3 spiritual beasts were not to be trifled with. They might be seriously injured. However, if they did not save them, they would still feel guilty. Just as everyone was in a dilemma, someone suddenly cried out, "Oh my God! What is this?" Everyone saw that the spiritual piglets that were about to disappear had actually gathered into a huge purple pig. Oh my God! This huge purple pig was more than 10 times bigger than that spiritual lion. How could there be such a huge spiritual beast? When Qianchuan's 3 spiritual beasts were shivering in fear and kept retreating, He Xinjiu crossed her shoulders and stood on her tiptoes. She said proudly, "See that? The piglets that appeared before were all De Hua's underlings. This is my invincible giant pig, De Hua." De Hua looked at the 3 spiritual beasts that were trembling on the ground lazily. One of them was killed with a stomp, while the other one had nothing to do. He simply stomped on Wen Qianchuan. Wen Qianchuan was simply dumbfounded. What the hell was this? How could Yun Chujio have such a big spiritual beast? And it was purple in color? Now was obviously not the time to think about this. Wen Qianchuan kept dodging De Hua's attacks. Fortunately, spiritual beasts were not as agile as cultivators, so when Qianchuan dodged De Hua's attacks with a few flashes, he also jumped out of De Hua's attack range. He had escaped, but Chu Shanshan was not so lucky. De Hua's tail had sent her flying, and the direction was coincidentally the canteen of the big kitchen. Yun Chujio looked at Wen Qianchuan in the distance with disdain and said slowly, "De Hua, don't chase after the enemy. Come back." Yun Chujio was very shrewd and knew when to stop. The reason why she was able to win was firstly because De Hua was indeed brave, and secondly, because Wen Qianchuan was unprepared. If they really fought, she might not be able to gain the upper hand. Wen Qianchuan gave Yun Chujio a vicious look. "Stupid girl, we are not done yet. Just you wait." After Wen Qianchuan finished his harsh words, he left with his underlings. As for Chu Shanshan, who fell into the porridge pot again, she was naturally ridiculed by the murderous Yuan sect disciples. On the other hand, He Xinjia's side was as warm as spring. Everyone's praises were incessant. What about junior sister Yun's spiritual beast being the best in the world? What about only a unique person like junior sister Yun having such a powerful spiritual beast? He Xinjiu could not close her mouth with a smile. It seemed that strength was the true principle. She had not received so much praise even after saving the human race, so she still had to think of a way to be struck by lightning. This way, she would become more and more powerful, and her De Hua would become stronger. However, in case that when Qianchuan retaliated, she had to take the initiative to attack. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes. She stood on a large rock and said, "Everyone, you've all seen it. That old man Wen Qianchuan is too much of a bully. He hasn't even taken over the power yet, and he's already bullying our people from the murderous Yuan sect. If he succeeds, we won't have a way to live. Do you all want to teach him a lesson?" Everyone was naturally filled with righteous indignation. This was how people were. When there were no external enemies, they would fight among themselves. If there really were external enemies, then they would be united against the outside world. Yun Chujio nodded. "Since that's the case, you all listen to me. Well, do it this way." On the other side, when Qianchuan returned to the guest house dejectedly. After Morong Hanlai found out what had happened, he gave Wen Qianchuan a good scolding. "You have done more than you can do. You and Xiahou Lin are of the same generation, but you actually went to find trouble with a small handyman. What's more shameful is that you lost. What's the use of keeping a good-for-nothing like you? You might as well die." When Qianchuan's old face flushed red from the scolding. "Master, didn't I do this for you? Didn't you tell me before that there was a chance for me to kill that Yun Chujio?" It just so happened that that idiot Chu Shanshan came to sow discord today, so I took the opportunity to go. Who would have thought that that wretched girl's spiritual beast would be so strange? It's also because I was too careless. Otherwise, she wouldn't be my match at all. Murong Hanley's expression softened slightly. You really can't keep your cool. Humph. Xia Holin and the others think that I don't know their plans. I'm just playing along. Our people have already split up and left the Thousand Ruins Sea. Moreover, we have that person's help. In another 5 days, they will arrive near the origin killing sect. At that time, we will work together from the inside and outside. Not to mention that bitch Yun Chuzhou, the entire origin killing sect will be ours. When Wen Qianchuan heard Murong Hanley's words, the dejection on his face was swept away. He said excitedly, "Master, I knew that you had your own arrangements. Then what should we do now?" Murong Hanley's eyes flashed with some calculation. Tell the people below to behave themselves and not to cause any trouble for the time being. We will go and look for Xiaolin now. No matter what, we can't just let this matter go like this. We have to put pressure on them. Thus, he brought Wen Qianchuan to the meeting hall. As soon as they entered the meeting hall, they saw a female ghost standing in the middle of the meeting hall covered in blood, her hair disheveled. Even someone as thoughtful as Murong Hanlei was shocked. What the hell is this? The female ghost turned around and saw her face covered in blood. When she saw Murong Hanlei and Wen Qianchuan, she cried out in fear, "Help! Help! It's him! He wants to kill me!" Murong Hanlei and Wen Qianchuan finally saw clearly that it wasn't a female ghost. It was clearly Yun Chuzhou, that smelly girl. Before they could speak, Sect Master Xiahou said unhappily, "Master Murong, I was just about to send someone to invite you, but junior brother Wen beat little Jiu up to this state. He's really going too far. Just now, little Jiu was cultivating in the courtyard, but junior Wen went to her courtyard to commit a crime. Even though little Jiu was a little over the top a few days ago, as an elder, junior Wen shouldn't have beaten her up to this state in private, right?" As soon as Master Xiahou finished his words, "Hey," Xinjiu wailed, "Senior Murong, you have to make a decision for me. Not only did Senior Wen beat me up to this state, but he also beat up many disciples. If you don't believe me, I will ask them to come over and let you have a look." Wen Qianchuan was so angry that he almost passed out. He pointed at Hei Xinjiu and said, You are spouting nonsense." "Senior Wen, how am I spouting nonsense? Do you dare swear to the heavens that you didn't go to my courtyard? You are a guest, and you are an elder. Why didn't you stay in the guest house? Why did you go to the courtyard of a handyman? Also, didn't you break my stone table and chair? Did you not release your 3 spiritual beasts to deal with us? Oh my god. I am only a trash of the 6th level of the Lingxian realm, and he, a senior of the 4th level of the spiritual void realm, actually released 3 spiritual beasts to deal with me. It is simply the blessing of the heavens that I can keep my life." Hei's ingenuous words made the listeners feel sad, and those who heard it shed tears. Although Master Xiahou and the others looked indignant on the surface, they were secretly happy in their hearts. This little girl was used to playing the fool. They did not believe that she was really beaten so badly. Just as when Qianchuan was about to speak, he heard many people outside the meeting hall stretching their necks and shouting that they had been wronged. They were begging the sect leader to make the decision. Everyone looked outside the door and saw that there were people kneeling on the ground outside the meeting hall. Most of them were servants and outer sect disciples of the murderous origin sect. Their faces and clothes were also covered in blood. Clearly, they had also been beaten up. Sect Master Xiahou placed the teacup heavily on the coffee table. "Junior Martial Brother Wen, you have gone too far. Master Murong, how do you think we should handle this matter?" When Qianchuan was about to defend himself, when Murong Hanlei gave him a look and said, "Junior Martial Nephew Xiahou, this matter was indeed done rashly by Qianchuan. I will definitely punish him heavily when I go back." Yun Chuzhou curled her lips and said, He is your own disciple. Who knows if you will really punish him when you go back? Moreover, will your upper and lower lips be done with just a touch? Are we going to spend money to treat our injuries? Are we going to spend money to treat our injuries? Are we going to delay our work and not spend money? Murong Hanlai tried hard to suppress the anger in his heart and said coldly, then according to what you said, what do you want to do? It's very simple. Senior Wen, apologize to me in public and compensate us with 1 billion high-grade spirit stones. We won't pursue this matter any further. 1 billion? Not to mention Murong Hanlai and Wen Qianchuan, even the corner of Master Xiaohe's eyes twitched a little. Little Joe, that's enough. 1 billion? Why don't you go and rob her? The servants and outer sect disciples outside the door were all scared silly. This Yun Chujiu really dared to ask for it. But could she give it? Murong Hanlai clenched his fists and suppressed his anger. He said coldly, little girl, a snake swallows an elephant when its heart is not enough. 1 billion is impossible. I will give you 100,000 spirit stones. 100,000? Are you sure you are not sending away beggars? Forget it, if you don't want to give it to us, then we will give him a taste of his own medicine. Isn't Wen Qianchuan bullying us? Then we'll go to the Sea of 10,000 Ruins to bully your disciples and see who's really powerful. Speaking of which, I've never been to the Sea of 10,000 Ruins before, so I'll just go for a stroll. Hei's ingenuous words were pure nonsense. She wouldn't really go to the Sea of 10,000 Ruins, it was just to extort money. However, the speaker had no intention of listening, so Murong Hanlai's heart skipped a beat. The people of the Sea of 10,000 Ruins had already divided into small groups and rushed to the sky-killing sect. It was not the time to cause any more trouble. It was better to settle this matter first. After all, no matter how much money she was given, it would still belong to them in the end. Thinking of this, Murong Hanlai said coldly, 10 million, no more. 900 million. 20 million. 800 million. 30 million. In the end, they haggled over the price. Hei Xinjiu successfully extorted 80 million high-grade spirit stones, and everyone was dumbfounded. How could this work? She extorted 80 million with just a few simple words? Was that Murong Hanlai's brain damaged? Obviously, Murong Hanlai was not joking. He immediately transferred 90 to 80 million high-grade spirit stones to Hei Xinjiu. Hei Xinjiu said with a smile, Senior Murong really loves juniors like us. Senior Wen, it's your turn now. Apologize. Remember to be sincere. Moreover, my ears are not working properly because of your beating. You must apologize louder. The corners of everyone's mouths twitched. Their ears were not working properly? When you were bargaining for spirit stones just now, why didn't I see that your ears were not working properly? When Qianchuan saw Murong Hanlai's dark and cold eyes, although he was extremely unwilling, he still gritted his teeth and said, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have hit you. Forget it. I've always been easy to talk to. Since you've apologized, let's pretend this never happened. Hei Xinjiu said with a smile. When Qianchuan was so angry that he was trembling, but he didn't dare to disobey Murong Hanlai's order. He could only make up his mind. Damn girl, if I let you run around for a few more days, you'll die in 5 days. Murong Hanlai said some more polite words and reminded Master Xiahou to make the final decision quickly. Then he left with Wen Qianchuan. Mountain Master Zhao grinned and said, Haha, little girl, you're really good. You actually extorted 80 million high-grade spiritual stones from that old thing. You've made a fortune this time. Mountain Master Zhao, this money isn't all mine. I still have to share it with the other senior brothers and sisters. After all, we're all victims. We've been beaten up badly. Hei Xinjiu said while grimacing. Mountain Master Zhao pursed his lips. It would be a ghost if he believed her words. Seeing that there was nothing else, Master Xiahou let Hei Xinjiu go back first. The moment Hei Xinjiu went out, she naturally received very high treatment. Some people even built a pole and carried this guy back. These people had no one else to share the money with. Hei Xinjiu happily returned to being the grandmother of the god of wealth. She only kept 1 million and gave the rest of the money to others. Only when there was something to give would there be something to give. When there was something to give, it had to be given. The crowd was naturally full of praise. What little fairy Joe was invincible in the world. What Morong Hanlai was just a paper, an old man, a tiger, blah, 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 blah. Hei Xinjiu listened, and her heart moved. Something was not right. That Morong Hanlai was not someone easy to talk to. How could she extort 80 million high-grade spirit stones so easily? There must be something fishy going on here. The more Yun Chuzhou thought about it, the more she felt that something was wrong. However, what was Morong Hanlai up to? Could it be that the results would be out in 5 days, so he didn't want to cause any more trouble? No, he didn't know whether the results would be good or bad in 5 days. Why was he so sure that he would take the position of sect leader? Hei Xinjiu analyzed the situation and felt that there was only one possibility. Morong Hanlai was certain that the position of sect master would be his. Since that was the case, he must have a foolproof plan. Even if Master Xiahou didn't give up the position of sect master to him, he still had a way to get it. Hei Xinjiu narrowed her eyes. What could that old thing do? She wanted to temporarily contract a few spirit bees to scout for information, but that old thing was cautious and had high spiritual power. If things went wrong, it might alert the enemy. Hei Xinjiu thought for a moment and ran back to the meeting hall in a flash. Master Xiahou and the others were discussing Morong Hanlai's matter. When they saw Yun Chuzhou return, they all looked at her in confusion. Hei Xinjiu explained her doubts and analysis, then said, I think that old thing must have some kind of scheme, but I haven't figured out what he wants to do. You little girl, you're thinking the same as us. We were also discussing just now. According to Morong Hanlai's usual temper, how could he allow you to extort 80 million upper-grade spiritual stones? There must be something wrong. Mountain Master Zhao of Fire Peak said with a big mouth. Everyone discussed for a while, and finally, Hei Xinjiu repeated what she had said to Morong Hanlai. Then, Hei Xinjiu's eyes lit up. At first, his attitude was tough. But when I suggested going to the Sea of 10,000 Ruins to settle scores with his disciples and grand-disciples, his attitude changed. It seems that we should focus on the Sea of 10,000 Ruins. Master Xiahou frowned. Could it be that the people from the Sea of 10,000 Ruins have already come to the murderous origin sect? Are they trying to attack from the inside and the outside to force me to hand over the position of sect master? Yun Chuzhou clapped her hands. That's most likely the case. Otherwise, that Morong Hanlai wouldn't have proposed to give us 10 days so long. I'm afraid that in another 5 days, those people will arrive near our murderous origin sect. I reckon that he didn't expect us to give up the position of sect master to him at the very beginning. Firstly, he was trying to build up momentum. Secondly, he was trying to cooperate with us from the inside. That old thing is really insidious. Master Xiahou didn't dare to delay and immediately sent people to secretly inquire about the news. Very soon, the news came back. Several thousand miles away from the murderous Yuan sect, many cultivators suddenly appeared. Although they were scattered in groups of 3 to 5, it was clear that their destination was the murderous Yuan sect. Master Xiahou could not contain his anger. Although he did not intend to give the position of sect master to Morong Hanlai, he did not have the slightest intention of harming him. After all, they were of the same origin. He did not expect Morong Hanlai to actually plan to kill them all. It was really detestable. Everyone, what do you think we should do next? Master Xiahou suppressed his anger and asked. Everyone had different opinions. Some advocated to send people to intercept the people of the Sea of Ruins, some thought to activate the sect protection array, and some advocated to kill Morong Hanlai and the others. Hei Xinjiu pursed her lips. She raised her claws and said, Master, what you said is a passive method. Even if we kill Morong Hanlai and the others, the people of the Sea of Ruins will inevitably stop causing trouble in the future. We have to think of a way to get rid of them once and for all. Get it done once and for all?
How?
Everyone looked at Hei Shinjiu in confusion. The root of this matter is Patriarch Honyuan's eldest disciple, Ji Qian. Because Patriarch Honyuan said that he would pass the position of sect master to him, Murong Hanlai and the others came to find trouble with him. Let's get rid of this unstable factor completely. Then we won't have to worry about people coming over to make trouble again. Hei Xinjia's eyes flashed with cunning. How do we get rid of it? Everyone asked in puzzlement. It's very simple. Change the sect's will. Just say that Ji Qian defected to the sect back then. It's just that the murderous origin sect was afraid of losing face, so they never made it public. In addition, the murderous origin sect is a super large sect. For the sake of the peace, stability, unity of the immortal essence continent, they didn't pursue the crimes of those people from the Sea of 10,000 Ruins. Otherwise, they would all be the disciples and grand disciples of sinners. They should all be killed. Hei Shinjiu said faintly. Master Xiahou and the others were immediately dumbstruck. Their faces were filled with bewilderment and bewilderment. Heavens! This little girl was too ruthless. This idea was simply lacking 8 lifetimes of virtue. No wonder the Nightmare Clan had allowed her to stir up internal strife. With such a bad thing, offending her was simply courting death. Master Xiahou asked weakly, Little Nine, isn't this a bit too much? After all, Ji Qian did not defect to the sect. Yun Chuchu snorted coldly. Master, don't blame me for my harsh words. If you don't prove Ji Qian's crime, not only you, but also your previous master and your future successor will be criticized by the world. They will say that you are a bunch of crooks occupying a magpie's nest. Don't you understand that if you die, your fellow Taoist won't die? Moreover, that Ji Qian was obviously not a good person. Why didn't he return to the origin-killing sect? It was either because the position of sect master had been taken by Grandmaster Zhuang, and he felt indignant. Or it was because he thought he had a better choice, and that was why he did not return to the origin-killing sect. Grandmaster Zhuang's position as sect master was not obtained through insidious means. It was recommended by everyone. You have to have the confidence to do so. People's opinions can change. Who knows, maybe Patriarch Honyuan changed his mind later on. Master Xiaohu's expression changed a few times. He had to admit that what Yun Chujiu said made sense. He had to constantly suffer the consequences. For the sake of the future of the murderous origin sect, he could only be this evil person. Thus, after some discussion, they decided to first kill Murong Hanlai and his disciple. The rest of them would be educated and then released. After that, they would announce the truth of the matter. If that was the case, the people of the Sea of 10,000 Ruins would be leaderless. In addition, the killing origin sect had already made preparations. Naturally, they would retreat. After Hei Xinjiu left, Master Xiahou let out a long sigh. Ladies and gentlemen, our wrists are not as good as a little girl's. We are really getting old. Everyone also sighed, but that was all they could do. Their wrists were good, their mouths were good, and their spiritual energy was weak. In front of absolute strength, all little tricks were useless. Hei Xinjiu did not need to intervene in the following matters. Although Murong Hanlai was powerful, this was still the territory of the origin-killing sect. Even before his death, he did not understand that it was a foolproof plan. How could it fail? When Qianchuan naturally could not escape his fate of death. However, Murong Hanlai's other followers were saved. Master Xiahou threatened and comforted them. Those people had no choice but to agree with the statement of the origin murder sect. It was that Ji Qian had betrayed the origin murder sect because he was dissatisfied with Patriarch Honyuan passing the position of sect master to Zhuang Muli. With the signature and the recording stone as evidence, it was almost impossible for the people of the Sea of 10,000 Ruins to reverse the confession. The prime murder sect immediately released the evidence to the world, and the people of the Sea of Myriad Ruins were instantly dumbfounded. How did the orthodoxy that they had originally agreed upon turn into a traitor? When the people of the Sea of 10,000 Ruins heard that Morong Hanlai and Wen Qianchuan had committed suicide, they became even more confused. What should they do next? They did not have much confidence in attacking the murderous origin sect to begin with. Most of them had water spirit roots and were not good at fighting on land. Now, they were even more tempted to retreat. Thus, after Morong Hanlai's followers were released, they led the people of the Thousand Ruins Sea to retreat in dejection. The battle for the sect master of the primordial murder sect had come to an end. Moreover, they had taken the opportunity to eliminate some of the sect's scum. This could be considered an unexpected gain. In a hidden valley somewhere in the immortal Essence continent, the purple-faced woman was so angry that she almost went mad when she heard her subordinates report. You said that the people from the Sea of 10,000 Ruins have all retreated?
Yes.
My lord, Morong Hanlai had contacted me the day before and said that things were progressing smoothly. I didn't expect that he would be killed the next day. Moreover, the murderous origin sect had even twisted the truth, saying that Ji Qian was a traitor, a deserter, and now that the public opinion in the immortal origin continent was leaning towards the murderous origin sect, I was really caught unprepared. There was simply no time to react. The gold-masked man kneeled on the ground as he spoke in fear and trepidation. The purple-masked woman waved her hand, causing the gold-masked man to instantly collapse to the ground. He did not even dare to wipe the blood from the corner of his mouth as he hurriedly kneeled again. Sir, this time, it is indeed my fault. This subordinate knows his mistake. The purple-masked woman snorted coldly. I have underestimated the essence-killing sect. I did not expect that they would actually come up with such an idea. Otherwise, once the two sides engage in battle, our people would take the opportunity to intervene, and the essence-killing sect would be ours. Forget it. Get up and tell us the people we have planted in the two sects to find a way to provoke a fight between the origin-killing sect and the origin-mix sect so that they can kill each other. Yes. Although He Xinjiu had been enjoying herself recently, she was not happy at all. It had been a long time since she had been struck by lightning. How could she be struck by lightning? She followed the principle of asking if she did not understand. When she captured someone, she asked, how can she be struck by lightning? The disciples of the sky-killing sect felt that this Yun Shujiu was most likely crazy. However, they did not dare to not answer. The answers were also varied. There were things like being struck by lightning for doing bad things, being struck by lightning for not keeping one's oath, and being struck by lightning for insulting the Tiandao. He Xinjiu wanted to cry, but she had no tears. She had tried all these, but she had not been struck by lightning. She was really worried to death. Could it be that she had to return to the Chaos Origin sect and enter the Cave of Reflection? However, Master Bailey was even better than Monkey. He did not punish her to enter the Cave of Reflection at all. He Xinjiu's mood was extremely depressed. She decided to take a stroll on Earth Peak to relax. The reason why this fellow chose Earth Peak was because this fellow had harmed the Fire Peak, Wood Peak, and Water Mountain of the Murder Origin sect. He had not harmed the Earth Peak before. He had not even been there. It was a good opportunity to take a look. When He Xinjiu hopped onto the Earth Peak, although the Earth Peak disciples did not reject her as much as before, they still avoided her as much as possible. Wherever He Xinjiu went, the Earth Peak disciples disappeared without a trace. He Xinjiu touched her nose. She was already a hero of the human race now, okay? Why was she so afraid of her? Was she that scary? The 5 peaks of the murderous origin sect got their names because of their own characteristics. For example, the trees on the Wood Peak were verdant, and most of the disciples had wood-type spiritual roots. Similarly, most of the disciples on the Earth Peak had earth-type spiritual roots. Their attacking methods were earth cracks, earth thorns, earth walls, earth shields, and so on. The scenery on the Earth Peak was very scarce. Hei Shinjo thought wickedly that it was probably because the disciples of the Earth Peak often damaged the surface of the ground when they were cultivating, so the plants did not grow well. Hei Shinjo walked around the Earth Peak, but she did not find anything interesting. In addition, although the Earth Peak disciples avoided her, they stared at her from afar, as if they were staring at a thief. Hei Shinjo was angry. Didn't she have a criminal record for stealing green jade lotus roots? Did they have to stare at her like that? Besides, there were pitifully few trees on the Earth Peak, and there were no hot springs or anything like that. Even if she wanted to take advantage of them, she wouldn't be able to. Hei Shinjo suddenly had a thought. These Earth Peak disciples were so nervous. Perhaps the Earth Peak really did have some treasures. Therefore, she continued to hop around and observe the reactions of the disciples. Just when she was about to hop towards the back of the Earth Peak, the disciples became anxious. Junior sister Yun, it's getting late. You'd better go back now. Yun Chuju looked at the sun hanging high in the sky. It was already late in the afternoon. Is there something wrong with your eyes? Junior sister Yun, the road ahead is bumpy. Don't go any further. Bumpy road? Yun Chuju looked at the wide road ahead. It seemed that his eyesight was not very good, either. Hei Shinjo was even more certain that there must be a treasure at the back of the Earth Peak. She blinked her eyes and said, "Why are you all so nervous?" "I'm just going to take a look." Everyone's faces stiffened. Just to take a look? Who didn't know that you were the biggest bad news bag of the Shuyuan sect? Even Yen Guo was going to pluck his feathers, not to mention their Earth Peak's treasure. Some smart disciples hurriedly sent a message to the Earth Peak's Peak Master Lien. They could not stop this bad news bag, but the Peak Master would find a way. Mountain Master Lien of Earth Peak was having tea with Mountain Master Run of Wood Peak. After receiving the message, Ma Shan ran out of the courtyard like a rabbit. Mountain Master Run was very puzzled and quickly followed. "Old Lien, what happened?" Mountain Master Lien gritted his teeth and said, "Yun Chuji's evil thing went to the back mountain of Earth Peak. I have to go there as soon as possible. Otherwise, if that evil thing finds the Earth Tower, it might blow up. This guy even dares to blow up his self-reflection cave, so the Earth Tower is even easier to deal with." Mountain Masterin thought of the precious thorn on his wood peak and said sympathetically, "Then we really should hurry over. That bad news bag is capable of doing anything." When Mountain Master Rin and Mountain Master Lien rushed to the back mountain of the Earth Peak, they saw that there were already a lot of Earth Peak disciples surrounding them. Mountain Master Rin asked anxiously, "Where's that bad news bag?" "Mountain Master Rin, how can you say that about me? How can I be the troublemaker?" Hei Shinjo sat on a tilted tree and asked unhappily. Yun Chujio had wanted to go to the back mountain to take a look, but the Earth Peak disciples were determined not to let her go to the back mountain, so she had no choice but to jump on a tilted tree to think of a way to escape. Mountain Master Ren's old face turned red. It was one thing to say it behind his back, but it was another thing to say it in person. Moreover, he was an elder, so he laughed dryly. "Little Gio, I'm just teasing you. Since you're here at the Earth Peak, it's lunchtime. Come to my place for lunch." When Hei Shinjo heard that there was delicious food, she immediately jumped down from the crooked tree and said with a smile, "Then, thank you, Mountain Master Ren." Mountain Master Ren heaved a sigh of relief in his heart. He decided to set up a checkpoint at the entrance of the Earth Peak tomorrow to prevent this bad news bag from sneaking in again. Just as Mountain Master Ren was about to get up and leave, he heard a loud rumble from afar. Dust was flying in the air, and his heart thumped. He immediately ignored Hei Shinjo and leaped towards the source of the sound. The people of Earth Peak also rushed over with grave expressions. Hei Shinjo blinked her eyes and followed behind secretly. When Hei Shinjo arrived at the scene of the accident, she saw a huge pit not far away. Stretching her neck, she saw that it seemed like an Earth Tower had sunk in. Hei Shinjo clicked her tongue in wonder. Only a small part of the Earth Tower was still exposed. It looked very exquisite. What was it used for? Why did it collapse all of a sudden? Damn, it was a good thing that she didn't come over. Otherwise, she would have been blamed for it. It was so close. So close. Peak Master Lien's expression was very ugly. This Earth Tower had been passed down for tens of thousands of years. Why did it suddenly collapse? Peak Master Lien instructed the Earth Peak disciples to dig the soil around the pit so that the Earth Tower would appear again. This way, he could determine what was going on. Most of the Earth Peak disciples had Earth's spiritual roots, so they quickly moved the soil around the pit to the side, revealing the Earth Tower. Hei Xinjiu had seen many towers before, but this was the first time she had seen a tower made of soil. She couldn't help but approach it curiously, wanting to see what kind of soil it was made of. At this moment, the light shone brightly. When everyone regained their sight, not only was the Earth Tower gone, even Hei Xinjiu had disappeared. Peak Master Lien stomped his foot angrily. He knew it. That bad news had always been bad news, but now not only did it steal their Earth Peak's treasure, it even went missing. It was simply too worrying. Hei Xinjiu originally thought that she had been sucked into the Earth Tower. After all, such things had happened many times before. These so-called artifact spirits had their heads wrapped up and would always go against her. However, to her surprise, when she regained her sight, she was not in the tower. The Earth Tower stood not far away from her, and the place where she was standing was barren. There was nothing but gravel on the ground. Hei Xinjiu frowned and walked to the door of the Earth Tower. Hey, Qi Ling, get out here. What's going on? No matter how loud Hei Xinjiu shouted, there was no movement in the Earth Tower. Yun Chujiu frowned. Could it be that the Earth Tower had not produced Qi Ling yet? What was going on? Hei Xinjiu thought about what had happened. Perhaps there was a teleportation array under the Earth Tower, and she was unlucky enough to be teleported here together with the Earth Tower? Hei Xinjiu thought that the possibility was high, so she gave up looking for a breakthrough from the Earth Tower and started to look at the surrounding environment. The surroundings were quiet, as if she was the only living being in the world. Yun Chujiu looked into the distance and saw a gray fog. When she wanted to pass through it, she realized that it was actually a barrier. What kind of damned place was this? Hei Xinjiu took out her voice transmission talisman and identity jade token, but found that they were not useful. She then picked up the jade token given to her by Di Biming, but she could not bear to use it after thinking about it. This guy blinked his eyes.
Who cares where it is?
Now that the medicinal herbs for the transfiguration pill had been gathered, it just so happened that there was no one else here. She would first refine a few furnaces of transfiguration pills. Therefore, Hei Xinjiu took out the Heaven and Earth Universe furnace and threw in the medicinal herbs needed to refine the transfiguration pill. Then she let it go. After all, the Heaven and Earth Universe furnace had a Qi Ling, so it would naturally refine it. A moment later, the fragrance of the pill drifted out. Hei Xinjiu opened the lid of the pill furnace and saw 10 pills with golden patterns inside. She was very satisfied. After putting them away, she continued to refine. This guy was in a hurry to verify the efficacy of the disguise pill. First, he warned the Guai Chao not to secretly absorb the efficacy of the pill. Then, he cut off about 1/10 of the size of the disguise pill and stuffed it into his mouth. After Hei Xinjiu put the medicine into her mouth, she felt that the taste was somewhat different from the transfiguration pill given to her by the old man of the Heaven Lake. This fellow did not think too much about it. It was probably because she had refined a heaven-grade pill, so the taste was different. After this fellow finished eating, he took out a mirror to take a look, but he did not find any changes in his appearance. Hei Xinjiu frowned. Was it because she had eaten too little? That was not right. Logically speaking, the higher the quality, the more effective it should be. Forget it. She could not go out now anyway. Even if she ate the whole pill, it should not be a big deal. Therefore, he put the rest of the pills into his mouth. A moment later, a world-shaking howl was heard from the dead silence.
Fuck.
Can someone tell me what is going on? Hei Xinju looked at her small arms and legs and felt like dying. Why did she look like she was only 3 or 4 years old? How was this a transformation pill? It was like a rejuvenation pill. Hei Xinju then remembered that the monk had said that these were Buddha lotuses and not thousand-leaf golden grade lotuses. She had not taken it to heart at that time. Could it be that they were not thousand-leaf golden grade lotuses? Hei Xinju quickly took out a lotus flower and looked at it carefully. Only then did she realize that she had really made a mistake. Although the lotus veins of thousand-leaf golden grade lotuses were also golden in color, they were slightly red, and the one she held in her hand was completely golden in color. Hei Xinju felt her head buzzing. Damn it, it was already quite miserable. She had not been able to come to Kuei Shui all this while and had no way to have sex with the gigolo. But now, she had directly turned into a 3 or 4-year-old. How could she give birth to a hairline monkey? She had turned into a monkey. Hei Xinju quickly looked for Guai Chao to help her while she was on the verge of a breakdown. She didn't want to be a little one all the time. Hei Xinju communicated with Guai Chao. Guai Chao helplessly expressed that it had never seen such a situation before, so it was also helpless. It could only seek its own fortune. Hei Xinju was so angry that she almost vomited blood. This fellow deceived himself and comforted himself. The effect of the disguise pill was only 10 days. After 10 days, she would be able to return to normal. Yes, that must be the case. At this moment, the second batch of pills had been refined. Hei Xinju was in no mood to continue refining pills. She tidied up randomly and sat on the ground in a daze. The small figure was particularly sorrowful. Guai Chao shook its leaves. It was rare for it to have a conscience. It expressed that it would feed it a few disguised pills and then study them again. Hei Xinju quickly took out a few disguised pills and swallowed them. After Guai Chao finished chewing the pills, it felt that the taste was quite good. It didn't expect that the little girl of Hei Xinjius was a self-taught genius. Hei Xinju, she really wanted to make this damn dog tail into a specimen. Guai Chao said in the end that it wanted to ponder over it, so Hei Xinju could only do this for now. Hei Xinju suddenly stood up and tested her spiritual power. Fortunately, her spiritual power was still at the 8th layer of the spiritual void tier. If her spiritual power also shrank, she would really hit a wall. Hei Xinju was not in a hurry to go out now. It would be a tragedy if she went out anyway. She might as well wait here for 10 days, and she might recover. Just when Hei Xinju was about to give up, she heard a snicker. She turned around and was about to find out who was snickering when a white light flashed in front of her eyes. Oh my God! Where did this girl come from? She's so pretty. Could she be some demon beast spirit? Isn't she wearing the sect uniform of our Killing Yuan sect? Could she be the illegitimate daughter of some senior brother? Hei Xinju was so angry that she almost vomited blood. Damn it, you are the demon beasts. Your whole family is the demon beasts. You are the illegitimate daughters. Your whole family is the illegitimate daughters. Are you blind? Can't you tell that she is Fairy Xiaojiu? Hei Xinju glared at those people angrily and realized that she was still in the mountain behind the earth peak. Behind her was the huge pit. Before Hei Xinju had the time to deal with those disciples, she heard someone exclaim, "Oh my God! The Earth Pagoda has appeared again."
Great.
The Earth Pagoda has returned. Everyone's attention was focused on the Earth Pagoda. Hei Xinju blinked her eyes. If she didn't leave now, when would she leave? Was she waiting to be ridiculed here? Thus, this fellow ran forward with his 2 short legs. Unfortunately, things didn't go as planned, and they ran into Master Xiaohou and the others not too far away. After Yun Shujiu and the Earth Tower disappeared, Peak Master Lian searched around and found nothing. He then went to report to Master Xiaohou, which was why Master Xiaohou and the others came together. Hei Xinju wished that she could become invisible, but it was hard not to be noticed with her current state. Mountain Master Zhao of Fire Peak saw Little Bean at first glance. Whose child is this? Why is she here? Mountain Master Zhao shouted loudly. Master Xiaohou and the others saw a pretty little girl in front of them. She was only 3 or 4 years old and was very cute. He Xinjiu blinked her eyes and bowed to everyone. Her soft child voice said, "Greetings, Sect Master and Peak Masters. Choo Choo came out to play. They'll be going home now. Goodbye." After saying that, He Xinjiu ran through the gaps of the crowd and disappeared without a trace. Master Xiaohou and the others looked at each other. They had never heard of such a girl doll in the Killing Yuan sect. Which peak was she from? Peak Master Mo of Water Mountain frowned. Why did he feel that the girl doll looked familiar? Especially the way she blinked her eyes was very familiar. Peak Master Mo shook his head. Perhaps he had seen the little girl's parents before, so he felt that she looked familiar. At this moment, a disciple of Earth Mountain came over to report that Earth Tower had appeared once again. Everyone was overjoyed and temporarily put the matter of the little girl aside. Peak Master Lien almost burst into tears when he saw the Earth Tower that had been lost and recovered. Fortunately, Earth Tower had returned. Otherwise, he would have been a sinner of the murderous Yuan sect. While everyone was excited, they suddenly thought of a question. Yun Chujiu had disappeared with the Earth Pagoda. If the Earth Pagoda had returned, where was Yun Chujiu? Could she be inside the Earth Pagoda? However, the Earth Pagoda could only be opened with a jade token. How did she enter? At this moment, Peak Master Mo heard the disciples talking about the little girl. His heart moved and he asked, "What happened to the little girl you mentioned? How did she appear?" "That girl seemed to have appeared out of thin air. We were just wondering if she had turned into a demon beast." "Where did she go?" The disciples were all talking at the same time. When Peak Master Mo recalled the eyes and brows of the girl, he was instantly dumbfounded. Could it be that the girl was Yun Chujiu? How is this possible? However, if she wasn't Yun Chujiu, why would she appear out of thin air? Moreover, why would a 3 or 4-year-old girl be so calm when playing? And her movement technique was so fast? The answer was obvious. That girl was Yun Chujiu's bad news bag. What kind of trick was this? When Mountain Master Mo told everyone his guess, they were all stunned. Mountain Master Zhao said with a wide grin, "Mountain Master Mo, don't joke around. How could a girl turn into a 3 or 4-year-old child? That's impossible." "Maybe it's still impossible. Why don't we go to Yun Chujiu's dorm and take a look? I think it must be her," Mountain Master Mo said resolutely. Hearing what Mountain Master Mo said, everyone thought about the cause and effect of the matter. Perhaps that girl was really Yun Chujiu's troublemaker. Therefore, Master Xiaohou and the others came to He Xinjiu's dorm. He Xinjiu was sitting on the stone chair in a daze. Her legs were shaking because she couldn't reach the ground. "Little Jiu, open the door," Mountain Master Zhao shouted. Although He Xinjiu was unwilling, she knew that the truth had been exposed and she couldn't hide it. She could only open the door with her short legs. At this moment, everyone was almost 90% sure that this person was Yun Chujiu. Otherwise, she wouldn't have appeared in Yun Chujiu's yard. Everyone looked at the girl's appearance again. She was indeed slightly different from the bad news bag, but after she grew up, she looked exactly the same. Mountain Master Zhao couldn't help but laugh. "Little 9 girl, how did you become like this?" Although Master Xiaohou and company knew that it wasn't very kind, they still smiled. This was too ridiculous. How did a little girl suddenly turn into a 3 or 4-year-old girl? He Xinjiu was already very depressed, but now that she saw everyone like this, she immediately burst into tears. Mountain Master Zhao saw He Xinjiu cry and immediately went numb. He hurriedly explained, "Little girl Jiu, don't cry. I'm not laughing at you, I am laughing at Peak Master Lien. Yes, I am laughing at him. Peak Master Lien, who was lying on the ground, was dumbfounded. Who had he provoked? Why was he laughing at him? But he also knew that now was not the time to argue. He could only stiffen his face and keep quiet. Master Xiahou and the others were also embarrassed and tried to persuade him. They were a group of old men bullying a little child. If this was to be spread out, it would be extremely embarrassing. Hei Xinjiu cried for a while before she stopped sobbing. Master Xiahou then asked tentatively, "Little Jiu, what happened? How did you become like this?" "I don't know either. After the white light flashed, I arrived at a desolate place. I looked around but couldn't find an exit. Then I was teleported out and became like this," Hei Xinjiu said with a sobbing voice. Hei Xinjiu was too embarrassed to say that she had taken the wrong medicine. Moreover, she had refined it herself. Damn it, it was so embarrassing to say it out loud. Everyone looked at each other. It was the first time they had heard of such a thing. It was unbelievable. Everyone comforted Hei Xinjiu. They would definitely help her find a famous doctor. They would definitely make her return to her original state. Hei Xinjiu thought miserably in her heart. Visiting a famous doctor? Even Go Weiba couldn't do anything about it. Who could save her? The medicine was indeed not taken randomly. After everyone comforted her, Master Xiahou said, "Little Jiu, it's inconvenient for you to move now. Why don't I send a few female servants to take care of you?" Inconvenient to move? Hei Xinjiu glanced at her small arms and legs. She couldn't help but feel sad. Damn it, she really wanted to smash into a wall. In the end, Hei Xinjiu still rejected Master Xiaohu's good intentions. She still had to secretly think about the antidote. It would be inconvenient for others to move in. When Master Xiahou saw that Yun Chujiu insisted on giving up, he instructed her to look for Leng Kuei if she needed any help. He would let Leng Kuei come and visit frequently. After Hei Xinjiu nodded her head in agreement, Master Xiahou and the others left. In an instant, the news that Yun Chujiu had turned into a little doll spread all over the murderous origin sect. "Hey, have you heard? That troublemaker has turned into a 3 or 4-year-old girl." I've heard. Do you think this is retribution for her bad deeds?" "Ha ha ha. Didn't she ask us how we were struck by lightning a few days ago? Maybe she was struck by lightning." All of a sudden, the topic of discussion in the Killing Yuan sect was about Hei Xinjiu. Many people were secretly guarding around Hei Xinjiu's courtyard to see what had happened to her. Leng Kuei had met her a few times and scolded the disciples. Junior sister Little Jiu was not a good-for-nothing, but she had saved the Killing Yuan sect and the human race. These people were always clinging on to her. How hateful. Hei Xinjiu originally thought that after 10 days, everything would return to normal. In the end, after 10 days, she realized that she was still that fucking coward. She did not want to live anymore. Therefore, this fellow put mushrooms in the yard with a hopeless expression. SOB, sob. Now, she had to stand on a stool even when she was eating, even when she was sitting on a chair. Fuck, she simply could not live anymore. Leng Kuei came to stare at Hei Xinjiu almost every day. He was afraid that she would not be able to get over it, so he told her all the stories about her being disabled since ancient times. He also told her many stories about her heroic deeds in the past, trying to rebuild her confidence in life. Hei Xinjiu still looked like she was dying. She thought that if Di Biming saw her now, he would not want to live anymore. She hurriedly took out the voice transmission talisman. "Prince Charming, I'm going into seclusion for 2 months, no, half a year, so don't come looking for me for the time being." "Okay." Di Biming's reply was as short as usual. Hei Xinjiu was not in the mood to argue anymore. She put away the voice transmission talisman with her head drooping. Just as Hei Xinjiu put away the voice transmission talisman, she heard Leng Kuei reprimanding the disciples who were watching the fun. This guy narrowed his eyes. Did he think that she would be easy to bully if she became smaller? Damn it, he could vent his anger on them. Therefore, Hei Xinjiu walked out of the door with her short legs. Seeing He Xinjiu come out, Leng Kuei was afraid that she would be provoked, so he hurriedly said, "Junior sister Xiao Jiu, you go in first. I'll go in and tell you a story after I'm done reprimanding them." He Xinjiu, what was a pig teammate? This was it. Those people had always ridiculed her. Now that Leng Kuei said that he would tell her a story, wouldn't it make it more true that she was now a child? As expected, although those disciples lowered their heads to listen to Leng Kuei's reprimand, they all winked at He Xinjiu, gloating at her misfortune. "Senior brother Leng Kuei, stop talking. I'll handle it myself." He Xinjiu strode to Leng Kuei's side with her short legs.
She was not even as tall as his waist.
She really wanted to die. Seeing this funny scene, the crowd could not hide their laughter and burst into laughter. He Xinjiu squinted her eyes and took out a handful of talismans from her storage ring and threw them in front of her. Immediately, the laughter turned into a scream.
Laugh.
Why aren't you laughing? Look at how useless you are. If you have the ability, continue laughing. Damn it, if anyone dares to talk about me behind my back in the future, I will break his legs and cut off his tongue. If you don't believe me, let's try it. He Xinjiu's eyes were filled with viciousness. After the panic, everyone calmed down, but they could not help but step back a little. One of the disciples said indignantly, "Yun Chujiu, your mouth is on us. What right do you have to threaten us? Besides, you are now a girl doll. What else can you do besides throwing talismans?" "That's right. You used to be a bully, but now that you have become like this, you still want to threaten us? You are overestimating yourself. Besides, we didn't bully you.
We just talked about you.
Why can't we?" Everybody pointed at He Xinjiu with contempt on their faces. Admittedly, they admitted that Yun Chujiu was indeed a hero of the human race, but so what? In the immortal Yuan continent, strength was the most important. Now that she had become a child, it was already good enough that they did not add insult to injury. Couldn't they just say a few words of gossip? She was taking herself too seriously. Leng Kuei could not contain his anger. Just as he was about to speak, he heard Yun Chujiu sneer. "Based on what? I'll show you what I'm based on." Although Yun Chujiu's voice was very soft, it was bone-chilling. Those people could not help but take a few steps back. To put it bluntly, these people were soft-hearted and afraid of the strong.
It was not bad to say that.
However, adding insult to injury and adding to the misery was definitely not without them. Everyone immediately felt that their actions of retreating were a little cowardly. Yun Chujiu was indeed quite awesome in the past, but now she was just a little child. What was there to be afraid of? Therefore, everyone laughed again and pointed at He Xinjiu. He Xinjiu looked at these people coldly and released a group of piglets with spiritual power. Everyone was shocked. This was bad. They had forgotten about this bad thing and the purple pig. Unfortunately, it was too late to regret now. In order to get De Hua to come out quickly, He Xinjiu let the piglets bite each other. Soon, De Hua came out lazily. De Hua looked at He Xinjiu, who had small arms and legs, and his huge body trembled. He Xinjiu was furious. Even a fool would know that this damn De Hua was laughing at her. Fuck, no one would be laughed at by their own spiritual beasts. De Hua, teach them a lesson.
Just hold your breath.
I'll see who dares to laugh at me in the future. He Xinjiu vented her anger on the disciples. De Hua was a piece of cake in dealing with these people. A few hoofs were enough to send a bunch of screams and a tail flying. He Xinjiu was not idle either. Lightning crackled in front of those people. Most of these people were handymen and outer court disciples. They were no match for He Xinjiu. They were immediately beaten until they cried for their parents and begged for mercy. "Junior Sister Yun, we were wrong. Please spare us." "That's right. Little Grandette. Our mouths can't spit out ivory. Don't take it to heart." "Our mouths are full of nonsense. Let us off." He Xinjiu put De Hua back and said coldly, "You know your mistake now? In that case, from tomorrow onwards, you will take turns to carry the pole and take me for a walk." If it is not my turn within a month, I will kill him. The crowd did not dare to disagree. They were afraid that it would not be their turn, so they scrambled to say, Junior Sister Yun, I will carry you tomorrow morning. Junior Sister Yun, there's still me. I'll carry you. Get lost. Look at your skinny appearance.
Can you carry me?
Junior Sister Yun, let me carry you. Yun Chujiu could not be bothered with them. She raised her head and said to Lung Kuei, Senior brother Lung Kuei, let's go. Go in and continue telling me stories. Lung Kuei. Lung Kuei was dumbfounded. He had told He Xinjiu a story because he saw that she had nothing to live for. Now that she was alive and kicking, how could he ask him to tell her a story? Did she really think that she was a child? However, seeing the small figure walking into the courtyard, Lung Kuei couldn't refuse her. He had no choice but to accept his fate and follow her into the courtyard. He Xinjiu jumped onto the chair, swinging her short legs, and said with a smile, Senior brother Lung Kuei, let's begin. I want to hear the part about me being the leader of the Unaffiliated Cultivator Alliance. I think you told it the best. Lung Kuei, was he sure that it was because he told it well? Was it not because you were so shameless that you wanted to hear others praise you? Junior Sister Xiao Jiu, I still have a lot of things to do. I'll come and tell you a story another day. Lung Kuei turned around and was about to leave. He Xinjia's small face immediately wrinkled, and her eyes were watery. Senior brother Lung Kuei, do you dislike me too? Lung Kuei's heart softened when he saw the little girl's tearful face. He quickly said, Junior Sister Xiao Jiu, don't cry. I'll tell you. A trace of treachery flashed under He Xinjia's long eyelashes. It turned out that there were benefits to being small. At least she could act cute. Lung Kuei spoke until his throat was smoking. Only then did he leave He Xinjia's courtyard. Lung Kuei made up his mind. He wouldn't come tomorrow no matter what. He was simply a tired fool. The next day, He Xinjia's door was packed with handymen and outer court disciples who wanted to carry this fellow around. He Xinjiu held her small hands behind her back and swept her short legs around. In the end, she chose the most luxurious pole. After she sat on it, she happily began patrolling the mountain. He Xinjiu sat on the pole. She held a spirit fruit in her hand and hummed a little tune. The king asked me to patrol the mountain. I walked around the world, beat my drums and beat my gongs. Life is full of rhythm. Her soft childlike voice sang a happy little tune. If one ignored the sullen expressions of the few pole-lifting disciples, everything would have been so wonderful. He Xinjiu had a strong ability to adjust her mind. She had also come to an understanding. She did not care if she was a little bean or not. Happiness was the most important thing. Therefore, the disciples of the Killing Origin sect would see a pretty little girl being carried around and showing off every day. It had become a unique sight in the Killing Origin sect. He Xinjiu was about to go out that morning to show off when she suddenly noticed that the sky had turned dark. She looked up and saw large dark clouds gathering. Oh my God, Wu Yun, is he going to strike her? He Xinjiu was delighted at first, then her heart sank. If she had not become smaller, it would be a great thing for her to be struck by lightning. However, her small body could not withstand too much of the violent lightning. It was very likely that she would explode and die. Thinking of this, He Xinjia's eyes deepened. It seemed that the old bastard Tian Dao had done it on purpose. He wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to kill her. He Xinjiu walked to the door and dismissed the servants and disciples who were preparing to carry her to patrol the mountain. Then, she thought of a countermeasure. Before He Xinjiu could think of a solution, the sky had already turned completely dark. The immense pressure made it hard for people to breathe. Even the demonic beasts at the back of the mountains of the peaks hid in the caves. Master Xiahou and the others gathered at the meeting hall. Seeing such a strange scene, they were all shocked and bewildered. What was going on? Was it a heavenly punishment? Or was there a treasure that appeared?
Boom, 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 boom.
The loud sound of lightning made everyone feel even more uneasy. Mountain Master Zhao looked in the direction of the lightning strikes. He said in surprise, "These lightning strikes seem to be coming from the direction of the kitchen. It can't be that Tian Dao wants to kill little Jiu, right?" Everyone looked closely and saw that the lightning strikes were coming from the direction of the kitchen. Judging from the direction, it should be Yun Chujia's courtyard. Master Xiahou and the others' hearts sank. That little girl was most likely going to die. Not to mention that she had turned into a little girl. Even if she did not change, she would not be able to withstand the punishment of Tian Dao. Master Xiahou and the others were about to go and help, but they did not expect to receive a message from Elder Guai. The gist of it was that Tian Dao could not be disobeyed, so they were not allowed to interfere in this matter. Elder Guai was one of the 4 grand elders of the Killing Yuan clan, so Master Xiahou and company didn't dare to disobey him. They could only stand outside the meeting hall and look down the mountain. Mountain Master Zhao murmured, "When Murong Hanlai came to find trouble, they didn't come out to help. But today they did." Humph. Master Xiahou glared at him. "Watch your words. The 4 elders were in seclusion a few days ago. Maybe they sensed the lightning today, so they warned us." Mountain Master Zhao pursed his lips and didn't say anything. At this moment, He Xinjia's courtyard had been hacked into a mess. Xiao Hanio and Xiao Mogu weren't as arrogant as before. They knew that their master would lose his life today, so they tried their best to help He Xinjiu share the lightning. Wu Yun was extremely proud. Wasn't this brat arrogant? Wasn't she unable to be hacked to death? Now that she had turned into a 3 or 4-year-old child, let's see how she could still be arrogant. She would definitely be hacked to death today. And that ugly bird, and that Xiao Mogu, none of them would be able to escape today. They would all turn into dregs. He Xinjiu could still bear it now. After all, she had only just begun to be hacked, and Xiao Hanio and Xiao Mogu had even shared some of the burden. However, if this continued, sooner or later, her meridians would not be able to withstand it. She had to think of a way quickly. The purple lightning became denser and denser, and its power grew stronger and stronger. He Xinjiu felt as if her body was about to explode. She gritted her teeth. Damn it, it seemed that she could only run away. Therefore, she jumped out of the courtyard and started running with her 2 short legs. Wu Yun was dazed for a moment. Then, she thought complacently, did she think that she could run away? Didn't she know that the heavenly lightning could turn around? She would be struck to death. Therefore, He Xinjiu ran with her short legs, and the heavenly lightning chased after her. From afar, it seemed that the guy had a long purple tail behind him. Master Xiahou and the others saw He Xinjiu running toward them with a long purple tail. From a distance, they could still hear the childish voice cursing. Damn it. Damn you, Wu Yun, I'm warning you. The river flows east for 30 years, and the river flows west for 30 years. If you let me go today, I won't make things difficult for you in the future. Otherwise, I'll kill you in the future. How can you call yourself a hero if you hit a little kid like me?
Pa.
Shameless. You are the shame and scum of the Wu Yun sector. From time to time, purple lightning bolts would catch up to He Xinjiu and strike her. Not only was she not killed, but she also ran to Master Xiahou and the others happily. The arrogance on He Xinjia's face immediately turned into tears. You didn't save me? You just watched a little kid like me get struck by lightning? Master Xiahou and company's faces were red. They wished they could find a hole to hide in. Mountain Master Zhao gritted his teeth. Fuck, I don't care about others. I can't stand it anymore. Mountain Master Zhao said as he jumped towards He Xinjiu and helped her cut off the long purple tail behind her. Seeing this, Master Xiahou and company also made their moves. He Xinjiu finally had some time to breathe. However, this fellow knew that although Master Xiahou and the others had higher spiritual power than her, they were not as freakish as her. They would not be able to hold on for long. He Xingjia's eyes darted around. Suddenly, her eyes lit up and she shouted at Peak Master Lien, "Give me the jade token to enter the Earth Tower. Hurry up." Peak Master Lien was stunned by the murderous look on He Xingjia's face. He subconsciously threw a jade token to He Xingjiu. He Xingjiu kept the jade token and rushed down the mountain. Soon, a long purple tail gathered behind her. Master Xiaohou and the others were dumbfounded. Why did she want the jade token of Earth Tower? Could it be that she wanted to enter the Earth Tower to avoid the lightning? That's right. The Earth Tower was said to be a divine weapon. It should not be afraid of lightning. Peak Master Lien prayed in his heart that nothing would happen to his precious Earth Tower. Otherwise, he would regret it so much that his intestines would turn green. Due to the continuous lightning strikes, He Xingjiu could not ride on the chopping board, and it was impossible for her to ride a sword. Therefore, she could only rely on her two short legs to run towards the Earth Peak. It was simply killing her. He Xingjiu cursed Xiao Hanio as she ran, "You dumbass! What's the use of having wings? Can't you grow bigger and carry me on your back?" Xiao Hanio, who was in the spirit beast bag, stared at the green bean-like eyes without saying a word. It also wanted to grow up quickly, alright? However, other than getting fatter and fatter, its wings did not seem to have grown much. Not to mention carrying its master with a black heart. Even it could not fly high enough, alright? Fuck, there was no other phoenix that could be as sullen as it was. The people of the Yuan killing sect were all hiding in their respective dormitories. Occasionally, someone who was close to the roadside would see a scene that they would never forget for the rest of their lives. They saw a little girl who was 3 or 4 years old sprinting with her two short legs, followed by a string of purple lightning. From time to time, purple lightning would strike the little girl's body, but the little girl's speed was not affected at all. She continued sprinting. Everyone naturally knew who that little girl was. In the Shi Yuan sect, there was only one little girl, and that was Yun Chujiu, that troublemaker. Heavens, even the heavenly lightning could not kill her. And they still wanted to go against her? Heavens, they were simply out of their minds. However, from the looks of it, the heavenly lightning would not stop until she was dead. In the end, she probably would not survive. Everyone's hearts were very complicated. Although they despised this troublemaker, they did not want her to be struck to death. They could only hope for her own good fortune. He Xingjiu felt as if all the meridians in her body were about to explode. The reason why she ran so fast was that she wanted to enter the Earth Tower as soon as possible to hide. Secondly, she wanted to release some of her spiritual power. Otherwise, she would really explode and die. "Master," Curly Hair said that he wants you to release De Hua so that you can use up some of your spiritual power. Also, De Hua can help you resist for a while. Xiao Hanio thought that Meng Yancha's suggestion was not very reliable, but he still relayed it to He Xingjiu. He Xingjiu did not have time to think about it, so she released a group of piglets of spiritual power to deal with the purple lightning behind her. Wu Yun saw He Xingjiu release a group of piglets of spiritual power, and the whole cloud trembled violently. Damn, it was hilarious. Wu Yun was trembling non-stop. This little brat's spiritual beast was actually a bunch of weak piglets? She still had the nerve to release it? It could smash these piglets into pieces with a bolt of heavenly lightning. As expected, the group of spiritual piglets was instantly struck by the purple heavenly lightning and became dim, unable to resist at all. Wu Yun was so proud that he trembled. How could such a useless spiritual beast be brought out to embarrass himself? He really overestimated himself. Just as Wu Yun was feeling proud, he discovered that the spiritual piglets that should have dissipated had regrouped and turned into an incomparably huge purple pig. De Hua changed from his usual lazy appearance. Even his usually droopy big ears stood up. He opened his big mouth and bit down on the purple tail behind He Xingjiu. Wu Yun in the sky shook in disdain. Although this pig was a little strange, It had actually overestimated itself by devouring lightning? It was really a pig. It was too stupid. Wu Yun could already foresee that the purple pig would be chopped into pieces by lightning. That wretched girl must die today. However, not only was the purple pig not chopped into pieces, it raised its huge pig head and curled its mouth at Wu Yun. Its expression was the same as He Xinjia's, arrogant and wanting to be beaten up. Wu Yun trembled again. This time it was angered. Damn it! It was too angry. Not only was that wretched girl detestable, her spiritual pet was also detestable. It did not expect her spiritual beast to be even more detestable. Wu Yun was so angry that it began to chop De Hua with a crackling sound. It now felt that De Hua was even more detestable than He Xinjiu. The moment it thought of being looked down upon by a pig, it instantly wanted to chop De Hua into a roasted pig. As the lightning had already struck De Hua, He Xinjiu was able to catch her breath for a moment. She panted heavily. Damn it, it had been a long time since she was in such a sorry state. When He Xinjiu turned around, De Hua's figure was already very dim. She hurriedly ran towards the earth peak.
Boom.
After a bolt of lightning, De Hua was finally chopped into nothingness. Wu Yun let out a breath of resentment and felt a little better. He continued to chop He Xinjiu, who was fiddling with her short legs. He Xinjiu curled her lips and released a group of piglets with spiritual power again. Wu Yun was stunned. Before he could recover, De Hua appeared again. De Hua raised its front hoof and shook it at Wu Yun. Wu Yun, fuck. This damn pig. If it didn't hack this pig to death today, it wouldn't be called Wu Yun. Unfortunately, Wu Yun forgot one important thing. As long as He Xinjiu had spiritual power, she could release De Hua infinitely. Therefore, Wu Yun had long forgotten her original intention. Instead of attacking He Xinjiu, she was competing with De Hua. De Hua was obviously infected by He Xinjiu. It could easily provoke Wu Yun's anger and attract the power of lightning to itself. He Xinjiu was slightly relieved, but she knew that she had to hurry to the Earth Tower. Every time she released De Hua, it would consume a large amount of her spiritual power. Although she had the power of lightning stored in the Guai Chao and the Black Bead, she needed time to refine it before the power of lightning could be converted into spiritual power that she could use. She would not be able to hold on for long. He Xinjiu ran wildly all the way until she finally saw the Earth Tower from afar. She was overjoyed and ran to the front of the Earth Tower. He Xinjiu quickly took out the jade token. Just as she was about to put the jade token into the groove of the Earth Tower disappeared with a swoosh. He Xinjiu, fuck. How could she play with it like that? She was going to kill her. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.